The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Mike Tannenbaum, who was involved in the Jets search process to hire Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji, explained why the Jets made the decisions that they did. You'll hear from Mr. Mike Tannenbaum. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby.
I wanted this job. Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. And I'm ready for it. It's all about the Jets. This is bigger than me. I look forward to this. We're the freaking New York Jets. We're built for this.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Brees Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go. I'm repping the Islanders today. They won 5 in a row. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Shout out to the boys in the orange and blue. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I want to thank the audience at the top here. I was just going over some of the metrics for the month of January, and this has been one of the most viewed months ever. It has been incredible to see this fan base still be this locked in, this intrigued by the Jets, despite how bad it has been on the field. And, of course, with the excitement Aaron Glenn is bringing, let's hope he is truly the guy for this team for the long term. If you want a built-for-this bleep shirt designed by one of our own, listener Sham, jakeasman.com. Stock is limited. So check it out, jakeasman.com. And if you're a Patreon user, 20% off. If you plan on buying a shirt, you might as well join the Patreon because you'll save more than $5 with that discount code. And then you're basically getting a free month of Patreon in the process. Lot to talk about with the Jets. We continue to see various reports out there on who the Jets are potentially considering for Aaron Glenn's coaching staff. And ultimately, you want Aaron Glenn to hire his staff, right? Woody Johnson said it yesterday or 2 days ago at the press conference that he needs to be a better owner. Well, one of the ways you do that, Woody, is you let Aaron Glenn pick who he needs to pick, bring in who he needs to bring in. And there's going to be a financial commitment that's necessary there, and that's the big thing the Jets now must do, get Aaron Glenn's coaching staff figured out. Even Darren Muji was asked about who he's going to bring into the front office, and he kind of deflected that question saying, I'm here to help Aaron get his staff in place first. So that's what comes first. You got to get the coaching staff in place. The Jets have scouts on the ground in Mobile right now. Phil Savage is down there representing the organization. So they're in good hands with Phil. He used to run the Senior Bowl, by the way. So you're not really concerned just yet about the front office. But the coaching staff is a priority right now for Aaron Glenn. And when it comes to Aaron Glenn, it's interesting how we got to Aaron Glenn, because if I would have told any Jet fan before the process started, hey, guess who you think the next Jet head coach would be, I think a lot of people would have probably guessed Aaron Glenn. He played for the Jets. He's been a hot name in NFL hiring cycles the last couple of years. The Jets obviously were well aware of this. So I don't think anyone is shocked that Aaron Glenn got this job. We knew the Jets were using the 33rd team to ultimately assist Woody Johnson with hiring the head coach and GM. So Tannenbaum was in all these interviews, every single one, for both head coach and GM. It was Mike Tannenbaum and Rick Spielman, former GM of the Vikings, for the 33rd team. So Mike Tannenbaum, during his weekly radio show on ESPN New York Game Day, went into detail on each hire the Jets made. So here's Tannenbaum, first things first, discussing why they settled, or not settled, but why they ultimately chose Aaron Glenn.
You know, with Aaron, this guy checks every box. Like, he never took a shortcut. He's worked hard. He's succeeded at everything he's done. So, yeah, of course, knowing him certainly makes it a little bit easier. But again, if you look at it objectively, he has paid his dues every step of the way.
And look, no one could argue that. I mean, as far as candidates that were out there, Aaron Glenn was considered one of the better candidates. You can't deny that. Aaron Glenn has paid his dues. Tannenbaum was spot on. Aaron Glenn started as a scout, pro scout, college scout. Then he was an assistant DB coach. Then he was a DB coach. Then he was a defensive coordinator. This is over the course of over a decade of coaching and scouting. So Mike Tannenbaum is spot on. Aaron Glenn is qualified. We could debate whether or not the Jets should roll the dice with another first-time head coach. My preference was someone with experience, but there's no denying Aaron Glenn is qualified for this job. Let's make that clear. What's interesting, though, is I want to know, did the Jets go into this process with a specific type of coach in mind? Like, were they looking for the CEO coach? Were they looking for the offensive genius? I mean, I doubt it because they didn't speak to a lot of the offensive candidates, didn't even request some of the top offensive names. But this was Mike Tannenbaum elaborating on what I just talked about here, on if the Jets had a specific type of coach in mind when they went into this.
I think there's a lot of dogma around that, meaning like, hey, we got to get the quarterback whisperer. And sometimes that works great. But I think when you study 30 years of data and like, Andy Reid, for example, is somewhat that probably transcends this a little bit. But like you look at sustainability from Parcells and Belichick, even a guy like Sean Payton, it's about their leadership and holding players and your staff accountable. Like you got to understand, like these jobs are not about, hey, what's your best red zone scheme? It's about getting your players to be their best version of them and getting your staff to be the best versions of themselves.
I agree. Look, the Jets need a leader, someone that's going to coach the whole team, someone that's going to hold everyone accountable. Now, the best case scenario is when that guy happens to be offensive minded as well, because then you're not really concerned about losing your offensive coordinator and having to replicate that. But look, for those worried about the Jets having success and then whoever Aaron Glenn ends up hiring to be his OC being poached by other teams, that sounds like a good problem to have. Imagine having a good enough offense where other teams want to hire one of your offensive coaches. I mean, look, shout out to Brian Schottenheimer, right? He's finally a head coach. It took a little bit. But the Jets finally had an offensive coach poached. He just hasn't coached for the Jets in about 15 years. But on a serious note, I don't worry about, Glenn hires a great staff, you lose the OC. Worry about that when it happens. And Todd Bowles just showed you it can be done. He lost his OC, he hired another OC. Now he lost that OC. Like, you know what? It is what it is. I'd rather be in the playoffs every year and have a chance in those years I have a great OC than where the Jets have been. So for those worried about defensive coach and you lose the OC, if that OC does great, it's a good problem to have, people. This team has been dog crap for so long. I yearn for the day that we are lamenting the fact that the Jets have to replace another offensive coordinator because they did such a good job. And we've seen this with the Bills, right? Brian Daboll left, and Josh Allen has now gotten better. So if you hit on the right quarterback, that guy can make everyone better. All right, Joe Brady is now a hot name. I'm sure he'll be a head coach at this time next year. Like, that's how it goes. So I'm not really focused on you need the offensive guy. My big thing was I wanted the experienced guy. It wasn't to me about offense or defense. It was Mike Vrabel was the best guy. I know the Jets tried to talk to him. What are you going to do? He went back to New England. Makes sense. And then after that, I looked at Brian Flores of the guys they talked to. They didn't talk to Mike McCarthy, though. He would have been someone I'd be really interested in. And now McCarthy's not going to get a job anywhere. So who knows what his future is as he'll sit out in 2025. But ultimately, we got to give Aaron Glenn a chance. He's a first-time coach, sure, but all these guys who are great in the league were first-time coaches at some point. Let's just hope Aaron Glenn is closer to Rex Ryan than Robert Saleh, for example. If you want to go by Jet history. Even Eric Mangini made the playoffs his first year. So did Herm. Herm made the playoffs 3 times. He was a good coach. So, ultimately, it's really not about offense or defense. It's about getting the right guy. So, I agree with that. Here's more from Mike Tannenbaum. So, look, let's call it for what it is. When it comes to the 33rd team's involvement, anyone could have told you Aaron Glenn is a top candidate. What we didn't know is who the top guys were for the general manager role. That's really where Woody Johnson is getting his money's worth, I believe, for the 33rd team. Because you have 2 guys who are in the interview process that have been successful general managers in the NFL. They're the ones coming up with the list of candidates for Woody to interview. Woody could have figured out, hey, I want to talk to Aaron Glenn, right? It doesn't take Mike Tannenbaum and Rick Spielman to say, Woody, talk to Aaron Glenn. He's a really good candidate. We all understand that. People questioning the 33rd team need to understand their job was more so the general manager, right? Their job is to find the bright GM candidate because Woody Johnson is not going to know who Darren Muji is. And anyone criticizing Woody for not knowing who Darren Muji is before this process, I simply say, did you? Because I didn't, and I cover sports for a living. You don't know who the assistant GMs are on all these teams. You hear some of the hot names like Borgonzi because he's with the Chiefs, or people look at the Lions' success and go, oh, Ray Agnew, who, for whatever reason, the Jets didn't even interview, so maybe he's happy in Detroit. I don't know. But my point is, the 33rd team's role in all this was to help more with the GM search than anything else. And here's Mike Tannenbaum talking about why he believes Darren Muji was the right choice for the Jets.
Just someone that was really smart, detailed-oriented, had a really interesting, detailed approach to the process. And, he's somebody, if you look at his background, like, been in one organization, but been around a lot of, like, high-performing, high-achieving people and had been there through multiple ownerships. And if you look at it, like, over a long period of time, what's interesting is, like, when people survive ownership changes, typically there's something special about them because, not always, but a lot of times when you see ownership changes, you just see, like, hey, new owner, we're going to clear anybody out. And you can look at Darren's bio and track record. It was sort of the opposite. Like, the more he was there, despite all the changes, the more responsibilities he got.
Look, time's going to tell on Darren Muji. We don't know. We don't know what any first-time GM, and that was part of my thinking too. Hey, if we're going to go first-time head coach, maybe the GM is someone with experience. They opted for two new guys. That's fine. It can work. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell were two new guys into their roles in Detroit, so it's not like what the Jets are doing is so outrageous. It's just time will tell. We're not in that interview room like Tannenbaum was. He believes in Muji. I hope Tannenbaum's right. I mean, Tannenbaum's got a pretty good track record of picking coaches. He's picked 3 of them that made the playoffs. You can get into the other stuff about his time as a GM, but he's been in that chair before. And New York's different, especially being the Jets GM. Like, there's a different level of scrutiny and spotlight and attention that comes with that job. Hopefully, Darren Muji's up for it. We certainly know that Darren Muji is a very large figure. I mean, the man is 6'6". You can't miss him. So Joe Douglas was a large fella at 5'10". According to Wikipedia, that's his height. Darren Muji's like 6'6", and he's a slim fella. I don't know if that matters. All right. I'd take an alien at general manager. They're good at picking players. One more cut from Tannenbaum here. He was asked if there was a quality that specifically stood out with both Muji and Aaron Glenn.
There wasn't any one piece of data that sort of, put them to the top. It was just more of, one of my big beliefs, if you're hiring a GM, the more I go through life, the more I believe in one thing, like, who you are is how you treat people that can't help you. Like, your true and authentic character is how you treat people that can't help you. And we call people from agents of players that were backups or that were cut, staff members. And the more thorough we got, there was just patterns in the data that both Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn were smart, high character, high performers that cared deeply, would be great leaders, be great listeners. It was a data-driven approach.
Data-driven. Look, let's hope the data helps the Jets actually get these hires right. Time will tell. We don't know. I'd be the first to tell you, though, I'm more excited about this regime than I was a couple days ago. Aaron Glenn definitely opened my eyes a lot. People are saying, you didn't even want him. No, it wasn't anti-Aaron Glenn. It was anti any first-timer. But I have said this. I would take Aaron Glenn over Matt Nagy. I would take Aaron Glenn over Ron Rivera. I would take Aaron Glenn over Rex. And I love Rex, but I would take him over Rex at this point. I wasn't initially feeling that way, but you guys know where Rex lost me along the way. I would take Aaron Glenn over a lot of the candidates they spoke to. He was number 2 for me. Brian Flores just happened to be 1 because he's been a head coach. And I think his Brooklyn roots would serve him well in New York. He'd handle this market well. He'd learn from what happened in Miami. But make no bones about it. I mean, Aaron Glenn's a phenomenal candidate. And I'd be the first to tell you, he really did a great job at this press conference. He set the tone. And I don't think that's nothing. I think other introductory press conferences don't matter in the NFL. Like Nick Sirianni flubbed his press conference. Who cares? Right? You flub your press conference in Detroit. Who cares? I think it's different with the Jets. We just went through the Adam Gase experience not that long ago, and that press conference doomed him. He never should have been hired from the beginning, which also hurt him. No one wanted him from the start, and that press conference just basically dug his grave. Like, you can lose the press conference in New York. I don't know if you could lose it in other markets. I think you can here. As someone who's lived here for most of my life, I think you can here. And Glenn did a great job of being different than Robert Saleh right away, right? Everyone's saying he's Saleh 2.0, that's anti the hire. Not me. There's clearly similarities, but you got to give Aaron Glenn a chance to be his own person. The only similarities are they happen to both be successful defensive coaches before they got head coaching jobs. But they're their own person. And right away, for Aaron Glenn to be this good at setting the tone, that is huge for this team going forward.
Well, Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, just doing that to Samiti right there. I mean, it's just phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's just a great job by Aaron Glenn setting the tone that, hey, I'm not going to be pushed around. Like, I might be new, but I've been in this market. You guys have a job to do. I have a job to do myself. He'll always be respectful with the reporters, but he's not going to try and be their friends. And that was Saleh's problem, right? I love Joe B. Robert Saleh shouldn't be texting Joe Beningo. You know, like that, like, let's call it for what it is. And the reason why all these athletic stories get out there and all these sources say is because this previous regime was trying to be everyone's friend. You don't need to be everyone's friend. Just win games. I'm wearing a Knicks shirt right now. I'm going to the game tonight. Leon Rose has not done one single press conference. He's been the Knicks GM. Part of it's because Dolan doesn't care. He hates the media too, so he's like, screw it. You don't have to do it. But Leon Rose just operates in the shadows and does a great job. And now that the Knicks are good, he's still not talking. He's still saying, I'm just going to let my work speak for itself. You don't need to do anything as long as you win. And I could already tell you what Rich was about to ask him because I've heard Rich imply this before. Bill Parcells, right, in that question he was going to try and ask and Aaron Glenn shot it down. Bill Parcells had a saying that he doesn't want celebrity quarterbacks. So Samini was going to try and get Glenn to be like, do you agree with Parcells? You don't want your quarterback to be a celebrity, to try and, you know, get that answer on, well, Aaron Rodgers is obviously one of the most famous athletes on the planet. How could that work if you agree with like that's the angle I believe Rich was going for, which is a fine angle to ask about. And I'm sure next time Glenn speaks, Rich will ask that question, but you know Glenn's going to be prepared. He's not going to treat Aaron Rodgers differently than any other player, and that's the tone that he needed to set. And I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan, and I want Aaron back, and I think Rodgers will respect that too, by the way. He's always talking about holding guys accountable and doing it the right way, and that's why him and Devontae took pride down the stretch playing for nothing, going out there and still kicking ass. Aaron playing through injuries, playing 17 games. I think him and Aaron Glenn are more aligned than many realize. But like that right there is not a first-time coach talking to the media. That's a first-time coach that happened to be a Jet and understands what this media market is like, understands what this owner's like, understands what the fans expect. Like that was a masterclass from Glenn the other day. I can't say enough great things about that. That was awesome. Awesome. And I'm telling you, you could say it's just a press conference. It's not nothing to be able to handle yourself that way and set the tone right away. Because it comes off as authentic. It's not fake. It feels real. Like Glenn is not going to be everyone's best friend. They're going to respect him. They're going to play for him. They're going to really like him. But he's not going to let people get away with what has been allowed to happen under this previous regime, where no one ever gets benched. No one ever gets criticized publicly. And that includes coaches as well, holding coaches accountable as well. So I thought that was tremendous. And the other line from Glenn that rewatching the press conference and all the sound bites that really stood out was his take on how to hold people accountable. Because this is the biggest issue that the Jets have had under the previous regime.
A lot of times people talk about coaches holding players accountable. What's your philosophy in terms of being hard on players versus, loving them up and being a quote-unquote players coach?
Well, to me, there's no such thing as accountability without responsibility. So it's my job to make sure that I let them, like, what is your responsibility? And once they understand that, and then they know they have to be accountable for that. So it's not like I'm the one that have to tell them that you're wrong. They know it. So we set that standard up front. And players want that. They've been like that ever since college. They've been structured. So it's my job to make sure I set that structure. And after I said it, I hold them accountable for that. And they understand it.
It's a great answer. It's a great answer. I mean, that's exactly what you want. So Time will tell. They got to win games. We all understand that, but you got to be encouraged by what you saw. How could you not be? Hit the like button if you're tuning in. If you're one of the 487 people watching live right now, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're one of the thousands of people not watching live right now, I'm looking right at you. Subscribe to the channel. What are you waiting for? Thanks to everyone who tunes in each and every day. I want to share with everyone out there that if you missed yesterday's show, we made a huge announcement. The next Asmaniac raffle, which is raffle number 14, will feature a signed Joe Namath helmet and display case with a certificate of authenticity. That is our grandest of prizes. It's Super Bowl week, baby. Well, not quite, but you get the point. The next game being played in the NFL is the Super Bowl. We have a Super Bowl, unlike the Bills. It just was a while ago, but we have one, which is better than not having one. Suck it, Buffalo. Joe Willie signed helmet if you win the raffle. Second place prize, Joe Klecko, Hall of Fame inscription signed helmet. Third place prize, just added this. You ready? I told you guys, the more memberships we get, and we got a ton yesterday, I will continue to add prizes to raffle 14. Signed Mark Gastineau helmet. So 2 members of the Sack Exchange on different helmets. And then finally, the signed Aaron Glenn frame photo. Coach Glenn. So 4 prizes now. Glenn photo, Gastineau helmet, or as Beast Breaker would say, Gusto helmet, Mark Gusto. Klecko helmet, and Joe Willie helmet. How's that? Helmet themed for raffle number 14. Gift a membership, and we will add you down to the list if you want in. We'll take some calls coming up. I do want to shout out Allen because he is just simply the worst. So the Islanders have won 5 in a row, and immediately, instead of enjoying the fact they're a couple points out of the playoffs now and maybe they can give us a fun season, it's trade away their 2 best players for a haul. Never change, Allen. Never change. It just you love nothing more than rooting for teams that never win. Great. Stack says, hit the like button. He's right. Let's get to your calls now, shall we? First up today is the great Kyle Clifton. Hello, Kyle.
Hey, Jake. So I'm kind of I love the fact that we had 2 former general managers involved in the process. Some guys who had some success during their tenures. Tannenbaum and Spielman, they did okay, right? And I think that for them to recognize someone or something in Muji is really heartening. And of course, I was very heartened by like you said, how Glenn behaved in his news conference or his back and forth with Chimini and the other reporters. Now, when we transition to the actual work, which has to happen immediately with the Senior Bowl this weekend and hiring of staffs, and we see that it's getting very competitive for someone like Nick Caley, with the Texans involved and the Bucs involved. Are we expecting to see news on stuff like this, like hires today and tomorrow? And, I think that Muji said he doesn't expect he's going to be able to make it to the Senior Bowl. But to me, I feel like we need kind of like a steady hand in the scouting area down there, and especially someone who, has kind of been behind the scenes and directing drafts, because this class is a little thin.
They have people down there, Kyle. Phil Savage is there, and the other scouts.
Right. I mean, but we don't even know if Phil's going to have a role with the team, do we?
I'd be surprised if he doesn't at this point, right?
That they have to for at least transition purposes, right?
Yeah, of course. And like all the scouts are there. Like Muji's not going to be able to come in and hire brand new scouts. Like these are going to be the scouts through their contracts don't end until after the draft. Like he could add some people throughout the offseason, which I expect him to, but the crux of the people that are doing the work for the Douglas regime are going to be in place till at least the draft.
Right, and I think Phil is pretty well respected. Like
definitely, he used to run the Senior Bowl. So if anyone's going to have an inside perspective on the top guys, it's going to be him, because he helped get Jim Nagy, the head of the Senior Bowl, who interviewed for the Jets job, the job in the first place.
Right, and they probably transitioned there, and they probably have a relationship, and it's something where if you talk to them on him on the day-to-day, you might be able to get some insight about who's really standing out behind the scenes. Yeah, I mean, the whole process is over. We don't necessarily agree with the way it went. It went down in all respects. I would have loved to have talked to McCarthy. It looks like now from PFT that he is not going to coach this year.
No.
I mean, that might be that he's kind of out of seats, and New Orleans wants to go in a younger direction because they might have to blow that whole thing up.
That's exactly what it is, because if Mike McCarthy's not taking his name out of the Saints job, if he thought he was going to get it, he might never get a head coaching job again. Like, you sit out for a year, you never know.
Right. And I think they're $64 million over the cap right now, so that they have some cutting to do. And there's not a whole lot of pieces in place there. That's why I always thought that was the worst job, and with the Raiders a close second. But yeah, I mean, like, I would have loved to have talked to McCarthy just to get some insights from a guy that's won double-digit games a bunch in his career. But that said, bring home a homegrown guy, one of our own, who seems to be able to handle the media much better than Saleh ever did.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's
Saleh
not
really,
even close.
Saleh really struggled with that. I mean,
he tried to be everyone's friend. He tried to be too nice.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. Saleh's a good guy. I really genuinely do wish him well. But it's just he wasn't the right fit for New York. And like you have to really hire people that can handle what this job is. It's not just X's and O's. It's hard. When it goes bad, and there will be a moment where there's real adversity for Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji, how do you handle it? Like, you got to be built different. As he says, he is built different. With the Jets, he gets that. And that's what I think is so important with Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, I mean, cautiously optimistic. We've all been hurt before, so let's put our best foot forward. Thanks, Jake.
Kyle, great call. And I think that's what's so disappointing with Saleh. It felt like Saleh was built for it, right? Like the fiery guy we saw on the sideline for the Niners. He was never that guy with the Jets. And I get it, he's the head coach here, but you got to be yourself. It feels like Robert Saleh at times was trying to be maybe something he wasn't. And look, the guy wasn't, all things considered, dealt the fairest of hands with his quarterback situation. Like, he did win 7 games with Zach Wilson. He did turn around the defense. Like, it wasn't all bad for Saleh. But when it came time to really lead and be the head coach and hold guys accountable, and it wasn't enough. Bramos is the first Asmaniac to get in the raffle for today. He has gifted 1 Jake Asman membership.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hell yeah. Ryan S., you're now a channel member. Let's go. Appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you very much. To everyone who supports the show, we're making the magic happen, folks. 1 membership at a time. Let's get to more of your calls. Yeti says those are really good gifts. Thank you, Yeti. For the people, by the people. We've had a ton of memberships, so that's how we're able to do a Joe Namath signed helmet, a Joe Klecko signed helmet, a Mark Gusto, right, Beast? Mark Gastineau signed helmet, and Aaron Glenn signed photo. Love it. I'm working on getting some Glenn jerseys for giveaways. It ain't easy. All right. Parts unknown. They don't have it yet. June the GM is next. Hey, June.
Hey, what's going on, Jake? I'm also an Islanders fan. It's nice to see us scratch the surface a little bit, right?
Yeah, we might have a season. We'll see.
So I wanted to make a point. I've been thinking about Aaron Rodgers coming back and all that stuff. I want him back. So I remember one time an interview, and bear with me, Jet fans. I know you antsy. I remember Al Pacino in an interview saying that it's frustrating being an actor on set sometimes because directors are scared to direct him because he's so great, right? Al Pacino. And I thought about Aaron Rodgers. When was the last time he was really directed on a football field, right?
Right.
And you see that Aaron Glenn is the type of man that's not going to allow Aaron Rodgers to call his own plays, to lead his own show, to be his own man. And that's why I think that if he comes back this season with the correct coaching that we have in place, at least from the head coach, we don't know, the OC and DC yet, but I believe that finally Aaron Rodgers will embrace being coached by a real coach finally.
I think the fact that he's a former player too helps him, right? This is the first time if Rodgers is back, this is the first time in his head coaching career, in his playing career, that his head coach has been a former player at the NFL level.
Correct. And I think that someone like Aaron Rodgers with that strong personality needs to first respect you. I don't think he ever respected Saleh. I just don't.
I think he liked him. I don't think he had I think he liked him and respected him. But I don't think there was the level of respect in theory he'd have for Aaron Glenn as a former player, because
Right.
like he would respect Salah. Like I've heard Rodgers talk about Tomlin and Belichick, and like these guys didn't play in the NFL, but they've won. They have a track record. Salah, I mean, one, he's the same age as Salah, right? They're roughly around the same age. They're not
Right.
that far off. And two, Robert Salah was coming off, 4-13 and 7-10 when Rodgers got to the Jets.
Exactly.
And like Bruce Arians had a track record for Brady. Like Brady couldn't push Bruce Arians around. Arians wasn't going to let him do it, even if it's the GOAT, Tom Brady, down in Tampa. I think it's a different dynamic because Salah essentially had no, track record of success as a head coach. It was all as a coordinator.
And I think when you look at people like the Rodgers, like the Bradys, like the Mannings, they have to have that already in them when they meet you. That maybe it's accolades, maybe it's reputation, but I feel that Aaron Rodgers right away when he has that conversation with Aaron Glenn can look at him and say, okay, let me really hear what this guy has to say. And I think that Aaron Glenn is going to not convince him, but tell him, look, you want to win a championship? I want to win here. Come on down. Let's do this the right way. Give me your full commitment. Do things the way we planning on doing them, and let's see what happens. And I see a wild card if that happens. I'm sorry. I'm not going to aim low and say if Rodgers comes back 7-9. No. If Aaron Rodgers comes back with this new team we have, if Aaron Glenn at the helm, we talking wild card at least. That's what I'm thinking.
Why not, man? I mean, not many will pick the Jets, but that's okay. It's a good place to be. That no one picked them in 06. No one picked them in 09. Fine. They have talent to be better than where they have been record-wise the last couple of years. They could have a winning season. They could go 9-8 and make the playoffs. They could be 10-7. And that's something, man. Like getting the stench of losing off this franchise, not having to hear about the longest playoff drought in sports, that will provide buy-in for this regime, even if they might take a step back in year 2 if Rodgers retires and then they're drafting a rookie quarterback, right? That happened to Buffalo. They made the playoffs with McDermott in year 1, ended a 17-year playoff drought, traded up for Josh Allen. They only went 6-10, but then Josh Allen started to develop, and then they've been in the playoffs every year since. So it's that to me, the Bills are the best franchise to actually follow how this could potentially work for the Jets.
I mean, we can't. Let's be realistic. You don't want Aaron Glenn to come out here and give us a 5-12 season. I mean, that's not how you want to start. No. Giving hope to us. Let's get Rodgers back. That's the only way. One last thing I want to say, Mr. Jake. This guy Bang Mateo has to be the most negative creature in existence. Can we perhaps incarcerate him on the show, please? Because I can't take him no more. Seriously.
Well, we have a very specific thing we could do about this, June. 10 channel memberships gifted, or one $50 super chat, and the bounty is on Bang, and we'll send them to the hole for the rest of the show. I mean, that's how it goes.
Hey, guys, I wish I had the bread like that, but can somebody do it? Because I'm sick of them.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's another way we could get the Asmaniacs involved if they agree with you, June. What I'm going to do right now is set a super chat goal that YouTube recently added as a feature. So essentially, we have now 30 minutes. Bang to the hole ASAP. And all it takes is 10 super chats of $2 or more. So for as little as $20 now in super chats, we could send Bang to the hole. The bounty has been set. I love you, June.
Let's go. Let's do it. I'm going to start the first super chat with the $2 right now.
I love it, June. Good call. You know my thoughts on Bang. He's the most negative guy ever. I think it's a competition between Bang, Curly, and Allen for most negatives as Maniacs. I love it. Also, there's something magical about sending a guy named Bang to the hole, I will say. I'll leave it at that. A gifted membership from Adirondack Fly Guy has come through the pipeline, baby. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, listener, Zalix is now a channel member once again. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. It seems like a lot of people. And notice I really have very little care in the world for Bang Mateo. So I set the bounty at $20. See you later, Bang. Dan says, later, douche Mateo. Mother effing chew. Oh. Well, another person asked for Bang to go. Easton super chatted. How much to ban Bang and his dumbass taste in the chat? Maybe I could buy him a keyboard. Oh, geez. I think there's a role for Bang Mateo, even though I almost always disagree with everything. Like, he's just negative for the sake of being negative. Matthew says, Liam Cohen's a weirdo. Pass it on. Doesn't mean he's a bad coach, though. I understand we're all having fun with the press conference and all that. Doesn't mean it won't work out. Time will tell. Time will absolutely tell on that because we don't know. I mean, sometimes you crush the press conference and you suck. Remember Joe Judge's press conference with the Giants? That was the greatest press conference ever. So, it could go a couple ways here. We don't know how it's necessarily going to play out just yet for Liam Cohen. That said, I hope he stinks because the Jets play the Jaguars this year, so I hope so. I did think it was weird, though, that I watched the whole press conference. And obviously, like, he did the Duval, like, he said it all weird. But when he said this, I was like, what? Beast Breaker. Like, I couldn't believe that. That was different. June says, lock his ass up. Chew, bye, Bang. M. Moore said, Bang is a fan. He's the worst fan. Izzy, whole time. South Philly, get him out of here. Man, you see what happens when people come together? You see what happens? How many are we at right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, that was fast. That was fast. When the chat doesn't like someone, they don't mess around. And you have to respect that. You have to. Ladies and gentlemen, with the power invested in me. Is it vested in me or invested? I guess it's vested. I don't know. We sentence Bang Mateo to the hole. Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it. We will see you later, Bang. Also, I believe it's vested. Which makes sense. Alan says, I just got here, but Bang, you're done. Mike D's nuts. Bye, Bang. Hey, Mike, good to have you in here, man. Let me know when what did you win, Mike? Oh, you already got the Klecko jersey. That's right. Oh, Mike, let me point this out to you if you just got in. Klecko helmet in the next raffle prize, and Mark Gastineau signed helmet. Added it this morning to the full prize selection for raffle 14. Joe Namath helmet, the number 1. So that's our top prize. I mean, we had to have something for Namath for Super Bowl week, right? Come on now. All right, open phone lines if anyone wants in on the conversation. Typically when someone gets sent to the hole on this show, oftentimes, let's be honest, it's been this guy.
Beast Breaker. 666 $50 will send his ass to the hole where there's no gabagool.
Beast, how we doing?
Okay, just a little bit better after yesterday. I was a little annoyed. And bye-bye, Bang Matero, Mr. D. Thank you, Jake. That was a lovely punch out.
Thank the chat. It's not me, Bang. Not me, Beast. Bang Mateo's in the hole because of the Asmaniacs watching.
To all them chat members, gracias. You deserve it. Thumbs up. Now let's get down to business.
What did you think of the Mark Gusto helmet I got for the next raffle?
I love that. I love that. But you know what's funny? I still got this little fellow right here. Take a picture of this. Look at that right there. That's a 1993 Jets helmet right there. I've had that for 30 years.
Wow.
I bought this at a machine for 25 cents. I said, hey, I'm keeping this sucker. It's going to be something to have for a long time until I go to my grave. And you know what we could do with the extra money? You know, whatever we don't spend, let's give it to North Carolina, Florida, California. You know, the people that lost their homes, let's do that. Let's help them out. Jets community, let's help them out. Get them the money that they need. Get them the support. You know, at least we do something for the community. You know, it's across the USA. And I like that New York Rangers had Islanders had. No, I mean, I'm not an Islanders person. And tonight, go Knicks!
Beast Breaker 666. He's the man who would kick your ass, and then he's gobbled goo.
Beast, your internet was a little choppy there, so maybe you could do something to fix it. Reset the router. That's no go. Says tell Beast his mom needs to upgrade the internet. Someone needs to. I don't care if it's Beast's mom, cousin, friend, rabbi, pastor. We need better internet from the Beast. Clay Hobbs writes in. Teams 5-12 with a 41-year-old quarterback, brand new coaching staff, and battled owner, a core that now needs to get paid, a defense that has to get overhauled. Like, the reality is it's a rebuild. I don't think it is, Clay. Why is it a rebuild? Because the coaching staff is new? That's not a rebuild. That's let's try and win right away. How did the Jets make the playoffs with Rex? Or Mangini or Herman their first year? Because there's talent on the team. A rebuild is when you have no talent. Or you're trading some of your good players because you just need picks because you're starting over. This Jets team doesn't need to rebuild. They need to retool. The Chargers retooled last year. They made the playoffs. Denver retooled last year with a different quarterback who happened to be a rookie, and they made the playoffs. Houston retooled. I don't really think there's long rebuilds in the NFL anymore. It's 1 to 2 years, and you got to be in the playoffs. How did Bill Parcells take a team from 1 win to 9 wins? So I don't think this is a rebuild. There's changes that need to happen, which they've already begun to make, a la Aaron Glenn and the new coaching staff. You're saying the core now needs to get paid. Yes, so you should try and win before you have to pay all of them. So that's not a rebuild. You're contradicting yourself. This team should try and win as many games as possible. Mad Willie, didn't Sean McVay make the playoffs his first year? He did. Sean McDermott made the playoffs his first year with Tyrod Taylor as his quarterback. I mean, come on now. Stones writes in, could you please show the video Gator made with Woody and Moochie? I could. Stones, I could. Maybe I will. Stay tuned. All right, open phone lines if anyone wants in. Let's say hello to K&D, who's next. What's up, King of Dreams?
Yo, what's the word? What's the word? What up, my man Jake? What up, chat?
How are you?
What's going on, man? Hey, man, you know, the best phrase I've heard in a while, man, we are the mother freaking Jets, and we built for this ish.
Hell yeah, man. That fired me up like everyone else.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Facts, man. Facts, man. You know, I put my cleats, my helmet, my pads, put that down a long time ago. But man, listen, if I could have played, I would have been ready, man.
Yeah,
absolutely, man.
Look, who knows how it will go, but I think if you were someone who is trying to keep an open mind, you couldn't have not loved what you heard from Glenn the other day. We'll see how it translates, but like, this guy's a Jet, man, and he wanted this job, and he hit it out of the park with everything he said.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think, you know, so I'm more of a defensive guy, right? And so I think what's going to happen is when it comes defensively, he's going to play a lot more man as opposed to zone. And I think you're going to see a big boost in Sauce, man. I think you're going to see a big boost in Sauce. I think Aaron's going to play a lot more aggressive. The running backs are going to be more aggressive. You know, I think it's good all around, man. I do think it's good. And, you know, I was listening to what you were saying about as far as, you know, wanting more experience. And I get that. I feel you there. You know what I mean? But, you know, let's give these guys a chance. Let's give these guys a chance and let's see what happens. But I do not want to be 7-9, 8-9. No, like we got to win at least 11 to 12 games.
Look, just make the playoffs, I think, should be the goal, right? You start there.
Well, yes. Playoffs should be the goal, but I don't want to just like sneak in. Like I want us to actually really compete and get there.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, whatever it takes to get into the playoffs, that no matter what it takes, like that should be what they try and do. You haven't made the playoffs longer than any team in professional sports. End that playoff drought, and then you'll believe you have the right coach, and that's huge for the long-term future of this team going forward.
Absolutely, yeah. I completely agree, man. Yeah, man, but I just wanted to give you a quick shout, shout out to the chat. I love you guys. But yeah, man, keep doing your thing, bro.
KD, I appreciate you, man. I'm looking forward to joining your podcast when I get back from New Orleans.
Yes, sir, man. We gonna get active, man. It's gonna be a good conversation, man.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
I appreciate it, KD. Thanks for having me, man. Looking forward to it. Look, if 8-9 got the Jets in the playoffs, that should be the goal. Whatever, just get in the playoffs. Win as many games as you can. Don't throw away a season with talent on the team. Some Jets news here from Tom Pelissero. Titans pass game coordinator / defensive back coach Chris Harris is interviewing today for the Jets defensive coordinator job. Quote, Harris is popular around the league and will have a number of options. He and Aaron Glenn have a long-standing relationship. Is this the Chris Harris that played in the NFL? Let's see. Oh, I just went to the Titans website to try and get some info on the guy. I already took down his bio. Is this the Chris Harris that played in the NFL, the safety? He last played in 2012. How does he know Glenn? Bears 05-06. I'm not quite sure when their relationship started. Bears 10-11, Lions, Jaguars, quality Washington football team. I guess Glenn knows him somehow, but interesting candidate here. Guy played in the league. He was a coach with the Bears as a defensive quality control coach in 2013. He started his coaching career. Then he joined the Chargers as a DB coach in 2016. He was with the Washington Commies in 2020 as their DB coach. And then he was hired by the Titans as the pass game coordinator and corners coach, it says on Wikipedia. And Brian Callahan retained him for the... So Vrabel hired him, and then Callahan retained him for the same role. So that's pretty good. Mike Vrabel has obviously signed off on this guy, and then Callahan retained him. So it's not nothing, but I'm seeing a bunch of Titans fans on Twitter upset with the potential of losing this guy. So, all right, we'll see. Now, if you're going to hire a defensive coordinator who has never been a DC before, I really would love to get some experience on the coaching staff. Assistant head coach, a guy who's been a head coach before. Todd Haley's name's been mentioned, someone like that. Peter Castro brings up Wink Martindale. I would love Wink. I don't know if he's a candidate for anyone right now. He might just stay at Michigan. Clay says, how is it so egregious to hold the opinion that running back the same cast of characters on offense when it will no doubt be a one-year deal seems ridiculous? Because it is ridiculous, Clay. We're talking about one player. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers as the bridge quarterback for 1 year. Do you think the Colts regret bringing in Phillip Rivers for 1 year and making the playoffs and going 11-5 that year? Do you think that was a mistake? But then Phillip Rivers retired after. You think that was a bad idea to make the playoffs? Do you think there's no value in that? You're talking about the same cast of characters. Most of the players we're talking about are under contract and are young players. You don't want them to go through another 4-13 season, Clay. Stop acting like this is a multi-year rebuild. You don't get that time in the NFL anymore. Joe Douglas got 6 years and he couldn't do it. It's enough. Win games. When we say run it back, we're not saying bring back Javon Kinlaw and Hassan Reddick as well and Michael Clemens. We're saying you have Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and Braylon Allen already on your offense. You have already an offensive line that features a really good left tackle, a really good center, 2 good left guards, or left and right guards. You want to start over? If you bring Aaron back, you get Devontae back too, who's still a top 10, top 15 receiver in this league. You proved that. Still really good. Run it back. We're not running it back with every player that's on the 2024 Jets. There's going to be changes. They're going to have to make some improvements on the defensive line. They also have the 7th pick in the draft to do that and cap space to sign players. Run it back. So you wouldn't want to re-sign Jamie and Sherwood, for example? Like, your logic doesn't make any sense. So run it back with everyone. It's who gives them the best chance to win games next year. It happens to be Aaron Rodgers. Yes, he's an older quarterback, but tell me the alternative that's better. That's the point. God, man. The same different comment every day from this Clay guy. Every day. Your point is ridiculous because it's not it's moving the goalposts. How is it so crazy to say run it back? No one's saying bring back everyone. You want Hassan Reddick back too, Clay? Because if that's the Jets' plan, and then bring Michael Clemens back, and then bring all these guys that stink back, then yeah, I'm not on board with running it back, if that's your definition of running it back. But bringing Aaron back and making improvements around him, I think gives him the best chance to have a good season next year. I love it. Younger quarterback with more mobility, who's more versed in modern concepts. When Aaron was healthy, he had mobility. Come on, man. He threw 4 touchdowns on the run in the last game. He still can move. He's not a statue when he was healthy. He's not. And also, younger quarterback. Like who? Name me who you're bringing in. You want a younger quarterback? Hey, Zach Wilson's out there. You want him? He's a free agent. You want him, Clay? How'd it go with Zach Wilson when he threw 8 touchdowns in 2023? Or 6 in 2022? Or 9 in 2021? So 23 career touchdowns for Zach Wilson, who's young, has more mobility. He's well-versed in modern concepts, right? He threw 23 total touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers' down year, where he had no coaching, played through injuries, and the team around him was a mess, still threw 28 touchdowns. Like, if you told me, yeah, the Jets could bring in this young, great quarterback, I'd say, yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. They're not picking 1st or 2nd overall. There's no path to that guy. People will say Justin Fields, like, he's only going to go to the Jets. He's going to have other options. I don't know if he's even leaving Pittsburgh. You want Russell Wilson? You want Kirk Cousins? I don't. I'd rather Aaron Rodgers. Clay, that's the GM's job. Yeah, and the GM's job is also to evaluate his options. You can't just snap your fingers and get a quarterback. It doesn't work that way. Have you seen how long this franchise has gone without any competency at the position? And while Aaron may not be what he once was, he's by far and away their best option. If you guaranteed me Tyrod Taylor's health for 17 games, I might feel differently. You really think that's a logical choice? Really? Oh, my God. That's the GM's job. Yeah, the GM's job is to also assess what gives his football team the best chance to win games. And until you tell me a realistic option that is better than 1 year of Rodgers, with my preference, drafting someone at the end of round 1 or on day 2 that sits and can learn, and then you have a competition with either that guy or someone you draft in 2026 when Aaron's retired, I do not think there's a better option. Tell me. Clay, I got to trust Darren Muji to work his ass off to find the right guy. How about you give him time to find the right guy? How about you give him Aaron Rodgers for a year so we can try and win games, help this team make the playoffs, end the longest playoff drought in sports, and then, I don't know, you find the right guy in a much better quarterback class in 2026. Find the right guy. I said, that's so easy to do. Hey, if I could snap my fingers, Clay, and get the right guy, I would. But guess what? It doesn't work that way. This is not fantasy football. This is reality. I dare you to call in, Clay. I dare you to call in and try and argue these points. You won't. You won't. Please, just find that guy. That's the GM's job. Yeah. You're not going to find that guy this offseason. What are the options? Find that guy. Ralphie with a super chat. Are the Chiefs beatable in the Super Bowl? Absolutely. We watched the Patriots lose to the 07 Giants. Tom Brady lost to Nick Foles in the Super Bowl. Do I think the Chiefs win? I do, but they definitely could lose. It's going to be a really good game. Easton says, Zach Wilson put up D5 college numbers his entire time in the NFL. I mean, I don't want to make this about Zach Wilson, but, like, go find a young guy. Okay, that could get you Zach Wilson again, Clay. I'm sure you'd love that. Here's what it is. Clay is from the school of Allen. Let's just lose, baby. Let's just take a swim in our own filth forever. Let's not try and win games. Let's just go swimming and suck every year. Why not? Let's enjoy it. Mateo Bang from the hole. He made a new account just to write this in. This team is nowhere near the playoffs, even with AR. Look at Bang Mateo back from the hole. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to give it up to Bang. This takes effort. But we'll see you later. Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it. I love the people that say this team can't make the playoffs next year. Did you think Houston was 2 years ago? Did you think the Washington Commanders were this year? The Chargers this year? On average, 4 teams make the playoffs every year that didn't the previous year. Why are we giving up on next year? Tell me. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Reminder to gift memberships or send in a $20 super chat if you want raffle entry. 5 super chats. Or excuse me, a $20 super chat gets you 5 raffle tickets. Klecko helmet. Gastineau helmet. Glenn signed photo and the grand prize. Joe Willie signed helmet. Joe Namath. Hit the like button if you haven't. If you're one of the 536 people watching the show, God bless you. Let's get to more of your calls. Let's say hello right now to one of the all-time greats. And if you heard his call yesterday, we covered a lot. We covered a lot of ground. Different topics were discussed. And now it's time for more fun.
Hey, Charles! You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. Hey, I'm not saying that Lowski takes steroids. Give me some of it. Hey, Charles! Who is that lovely lady? Sing it this way, Charles!
Hey, Jake, how are you?
Hey, Charles.
I just want to say to that Clay Hobbs guy, what the hell are you talking about? Obviously, Aaron Rodgers, while he may not be the same guy that he once was, I still think he's the most competent quarterback they've had in a long time. He doesn't really turn over the ball over that much. Look, Zach Wilson, I don't hate Zach Wilson like legions of Jets fans do. I think he was put in a bad spot. I don't think he was put in a position to succeed. Not that I'm saying he didn't have his own flaws to his game, but I don't think he was put in the right situation either. But anyways, enough of Zach Wilson. I'm glad Woody Johnson stepped up and actually admitted he needs to be a better owner. Obviously, I mean, I know today's topic is about why Mike Tannenbaum, reason why the Jets hired Aaron Glenn. The Jets hired Aaron Glenn because they needed freaking leadership. They needed leadership. They needed someone with a sense of responsibility as well as accountability. They need someone that actually has a set of cojones, which I'm sure Beastbreaker would be proud of if I said that.
You think Beastbreaker would be proud of cojones?
You know, someone with cojones, balls.
I understand what you're saying.
But, obviously, it's not a guarantee that Aaron Glenn nor Darren Muji would be successful here, but we got to see. But we need to give them time. I'm not saying we got to I think us Jet fans can be a bit too impatient.
I see.
Because obviously we haven't had a championship since '69. We haven't having a winning season since 2015. We haven't made the playoffs since 2010. But sometimes, as I said it on the Jets Turbulence podcast, huge shout out to those guys. I said we need to balance out our patience and our demand.
Charles, you seem to be very distracted today as I'm trying to allow you to make your points.
Sorry, I'm just reading the private chat.
Here's what you should do. Focus on the points you're trying to make and not what other people are saying. Lock in, baby.
But I think we need to balance out our patience and our demand. Sometimes we got to be a little patient and be a little bit demanding. Because, we haven't had a good team, a legitimate. I thought 2015, in all honesty, we were going to the AFC Championship game. But Ryan Fitzpatrick had to be Ryan Fitztragic at the worst moment.
He did.
He had a chance to make a name for himself, and he screwed up. I mean, he was a talented player, but he wasn't great.
He had a career year, and then he reverted back into a pumpkin.
Yeah, I think that's what. Anyway,
what's on the agenda today, Charles?
Nothing. I'm feeling better. My brother's feeling better. Can't wait for Friday. Me and my community inclusion group are going to an hibachi place.
I see.
You know what hibachi is, don't you? It's a Japanese place.
No, I've never heard of hibachi. Explain it to me.
It's where you go to a Japanese restaurant. They cook in front of you. They chop up all the ingredients for you, whether it's chicken, noodles, rice, vegetable, or veggie, whatever you have, and they cook it right in front of you. They put on a show for you while they cook for you.
They put on a show for you, huh?
Not that kind of show, you meatball. I'm talking about
you said they put on a show for you. I was just asking.
That's what I mean. They cook for you.
What do you mean they cook for you? What do you mean? You mean you're sitting there watching them cook?
You're showing off their juggling act, feeding you vegetables, pouring sake in your mouth.
Do you think this is a petting zoo or something? You just watch them in their line of work. There's just a glass in front of you, and you just see them.
No, they sit. No, they do it right in front of you. There's no glass. There's no nothing.
So I could touch them in theory. I could be this close to the hibachi chef and actually touch them.
Not touch him, but
I could go and grab the meat that's being cooked in front of me, essentially.
No, well, yes, but that's a no-no.
Why?
Because you don't want to get your hand burned, you don't want to contaminate the food, and
but they're invading my space.
They're not up and close personal to you. They're right by where the cooking stuff is, and I'm gonna show you a video of Japanese cooking.
Do you have one handy?
What?
Do you have one handy?
I have two hands.
Well, you said you're going to show me a video. He's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, the hibachi gods just ended Charles' call. That was not me. He just left. Unbelievable. When Charles calls back, we'll ask him if he's ever caught anything from the spatula when they throw the hibachi food. We'll get his thoughts on that. Super chat from Brooklyn born. It's our guy Len. I've seen more chatter on Fields and also possibly trading for Olave. Interesting thoughts. LFG Jets were built for this. I don't see why New Orleans would trade Olave. What would that cost, by the way? I don't know. Look, Fields is not a bad option if Aaron Rodgers is not back, but I think Aaron is the best option. He's better than Fields. Bo, super chat, cuts the line. It's important to play this out in our minds. A guy who could throw 28 touchdowns during a coachless season is absolutely our best chance to win. I agree. The Chargers were rudderless too with awful coaching, and then look what happened when they got Harbaugh. Coaching matters more in this sport than any other sport. Bill Parcells took over a 1-win team and won 9 games. Ladies and gentlemen, he's back for more.
Hi, I'm Charles, and I'm going to talk about Spider-Man and movies and sports and video games and maybe hot chicks.
Yeah, I exit out by accident. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me there. I'm going to try again.
Now, give me an idea here. At this hibachi, right? When you're sitting there watching them cook, can you give them constructive criticism in real time?
You could say they're doing a great job.
What if I don't like the job they're doing, though?
You could tell them afterwards.
What about during? I want to try and fix their mistakes. Like if I go to a sporting event and I scream out, "Hey, coach, put in so and so. You're blowing it." Like I could criticize them. Can I do the same thing?
That's different.
How is it different? It's the same thing. I'm watching them do their job at a sporting event. In this scenario, I'm watching them cook my dinner.
That's true. I'm an idiot about that.
See, I make a pretty good point.
But whenever I went to a Japanese place, they always did a good job cooking my food.
Is this Japanese or hibachi? I'm not following.
Japanese food is hibachi. Japanese is hibachi.
But you said hibachi. Now we're talking about Japanese. Japanese food could also be sushi. So I need some clarification.
Japanese is hibachi.
Japanese
is
Japanese
hibachi.
food. That's
We're
not
going
true.
to a
No, I've been to a Japanese place where you sit down and you order dinner. What you're describing, this hibachi thing, sounds completely different.
Well, this Japanese food place does do hibachi.
Okay.
And then I'm going to meet with you and Nick on this Saturday for the Hawks get farewell party.
Now, at this hibachi thing, can I request some rice? You'd only describe meat.
Well, I said rice, I said noodles, I said vegetables, and
Oh,
you
okay.
could have veggie too, or shrimp, or
Any
pork, or
soup?
steak. I think they give you mishu soup.
What about Gorman Mother chicken soup?
No, that's not going to happen.
Why not? You said I could make requests to them.
Yeah, but not my mother's home cooking.
Would she potentially work at a hibachi place? Have I ever tried it with you?
I don't think my mother would do that. But then again, who the hell knows?
Things change very quickly these days.
I know.
Are you a miso guy?
I've tried it. It's all right.
I see.
How's your family doing, Jake? I was meaning to ask you that for a while.
They're doing good, Charles. My brother's a huge fan of yours, and when he writes Gorlami in the chat, he's referencing the movie Inglourious Bastards. He wants you to know that he's not making fun of your name.
I have never really watched Inglourious Basterds. That's the movie with Brad Pitt, right?
Correct. Great
and
film.
John Bernthal?
Yeah, you'd love it.
That's about soldiers invading Nazi Germany, correct?
Yes. It's one of Quentin Tarantino's best films.
Quentin Tarantino's a great director.
I think that's someone check. That's Tarantino, right? I believe it is. But yeah. Now, does Brad Pitt eat hibachi? Jay wants to know.
My mother calls him a weird individual, but he is a great director. What?
Yeah. Well, someone wanted to know, does Brad Pitt eat hibachi?
About Brad Pitt liking hibachi? I have no idea. I'm not a Brad Pitt fan.
Really?
I don't dislike him either. I'm just neutral towards him. I like John Bernthal, especially when he plays the Punisher.
Now, if you, me, and Brad Pitt were to get dinner, would you recommend we go and get hibachi?
I would express something less expensive.
Is hibachi
I'm not saying like fast food, but maybe like
I'm buying.
Applebee's.
It's my treat. Don't
Applebee's.
We could do bees.
I like Applebee's.
Look, if we're going to do bees, we got to go after 10 o'clock, though.
We want to go after 10 o'clock? Oh, shit.
I mean, it's half price abs after 10, Charles. We're not messing around.
All right, fine. We'll go to Applebee's at 10 o'clock at night, and I'll probably get fatter the next day.
All right, so me, you, Brad Pitt, we're going to Applebee's after 10. You in?
Not right now, but yeah, sure. Why the hell not?
All right, so in the future, though, you would do it? Like, how's tomorrow night? I'll pick you up at 10.
No, thanks. I'll pass. I got some things to do that day as well.
What could you possibly have to do that would be better than going to Applebee's with me and Brad Pitt?
Do you know Brad Pitt's number?
Do I know it? I mean, yeah, we text all the time.
Interesting. I don't know, man. My mother may have dinner plans Thursday. I have no idea.
So wait a second. You're going to turn down me, Brad Pitt, and Applebee's because your mom might have made you dinner for tomorrow, have her make it for you another night.
My mother can be very hard-nosed when it comes to this stuff.
I think she'd understand if you told her that it's Brad Pitt and me.
My mom's not a Brad Pitt fan.
Well, maybe after she gets a chance to meet him.
If it was Denzel, I can understand.
All right, so if we kicked Brad Pitt out of this and I invited Denzel, you'd be in?
Hell yeah, it's Denzel.
All right. Well, I would say hell yeah, it's Brad Pitt. He's a great actor too.
I don't really know. I don't really follow him in movies that much. I know he's a talented individual.
I mean, have you seen Moneyball? Have you seen Fight Club? Have you seen Ocean's
I've seen
11?
Moneyball. It's a good movie. I'm not a big fan of the Ocean's 11 movies. I'm not a George Clooney fan.
You're not a Clooney guy either? Sounds like you're just
Yes, and I'm not just saying
handsome
because
actors.
he's Batman. I'm just not a big George Clooney fan. My brother
Sounds-
doesn't like George Clooney. My
Hold
father
on.
doesn't like George Clooney. My mom doesn't like George Clooney. My grandmama doesn't like George Clooney.
Grandma Joe doesn't like Clooney?
No, I think he sucks as an actor. I've seen him in
Wow.
other movies, and I think he sucks.
All right. That's a strong take. I don't really know where
It's
we
not
can
a-
go from here.
It's not. It's a strong take, and it's a very common take too. I know a lot of people that aren't fans of Clooney either.
All right. So basically, if we're going to do dinner tomorrow night, we have to swap out Pitt for Denzel, and you're in?
Hell yeah, it's Denzel. No, that's a great actor.
All right. So you'll tell your mom about this if I get the clearance?
Yes,
All right. 10 p.m. tomorrow. I will
he
pick you
may
up.
be my mom's favorite actor.
So she'll understand.
Hell yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
I also want to add that back to the Jets. Well, hibachi, I never tried fondue, but what I mean by I should have been more specific. You can have meat with your meal, or you can have just plain vegetables. That's what I meant to say. Because I know some people in my community inclusion group that are vegetarian. That's what I mean. Like you can have just plain vegetables with your meal.
Hey, Charles, do you think Aaron Glenn sounds a lot like Coach Boone, Denzel Washington's character, and Remember the Titans?
Well, if you Remember the Titans is probably my favorite football movie of all time. It's one of my favorite Denzel Washington movies. I love that movie to death. I think, it's one of the greatest films ever made. But I don't know. He's got to prove himself. I love The Hire. I know Ricky New York loves The Hire. I know a lot of Jet fans love The Hire.
I didn't ask for your assessment on The Hire. Just do you think he has a striking resemblance to
The
Denzel?
potential to be a great coach. Yes, I do.
No, that's not what I was asking. I was asking if you think he sounds like Denzel in the movie Remember the Titans. He sounds to me like Coach Boone. He's got a very similar cadence.
A little bit, but not too much.
What if I invited Aaron Glenn to dinner tomorrow? Would you still be interested?
Well, I might have to ask for his autograph for my dad to look at.
That's fine. I'm sure Glenn would be happy to sign for Dennis.
My father liked Aaron Glenn a lot.
Yeah,
He told me not too long ago that before Rivas, he was the Jets' best cover corner.
he was.
I know one guy, Infrared Jet, thought he was better than Rivas. I'm like, nah. He may have more interceptions. He may have had a longer career. But Rivas was different. Rivas was strong. I mean, he held Calvin Johnson in check. I don't think Aaron Glenn would have had the same success against Calvin Johnson that Darrelle Rivas did. That's just me personally. I know Aaron Glenn was a very good player. I know he was a very good cover corner for the Jets and for the Texans and for a couple of other teams. But Rivas was a once in a generation. I mean, his 2009 season is considered by many, if not all, to be the best cornerback season in NFL history.
What do you think the best season you've ever had in your career was, Charles?
I never played in the NFL.
Yeah, but how about using your life as a season? What's been the best year of your life?
I'd say my best years were elementary school.
So we're talking 2002
From the 2000s, in the early 2000s, yes.
2001, roughly?
2000, 2001 to 2005.
You would say that was your prime? That was your
Yes.
09 Revis?
Yes, it was my own Revis, yes.
What specifically stood out about Charles Gorman in elementary school?
That I had friends, that kids that treated me with respect. I wasn't bullied a lot. Well, I wasn't really bullied at all in elementary school. I was more so bullied when I was with my Boy Scout troop.
When was that?
And the bullying got even worse in middle school.
Yeah, but now you're stacked with great friends. I would argue
Yes.
that these years coming up are about to be your prime, way better than elementary school. You're going to get to be able to enjoy all this. Think about the amount of people that are excited to see you on Saturday.
I know. Jay Graves is coming. You are coming. Nate is coming. Nick, obviously. Hawk.
What are you going to do when you see Hawk? You're going to go like this?
No.
That's what I'm going to do.
Any Given Sunday. Was that the movie with Al Pacino?
Yes.
I saw bits and pieces of that movie. It looked like a damn good movie. The Longest Yard, I watched the Adam Sandler version too much. The Replacement's a great movie. The Waterboy's my favorite Adam Sandler movie. I have to see the original where Burt Reynolds played the main character. People said that's the superior version.
I own a Bobby Boucher jersey, Charles. What do you think of that?
We could use some Bobby Boucher.
It's true. I'll take him as the bridge quarterback next year. I don't know if he's an option, though.
He was a freaking linebacker.
And?
All we need him to do is visualize an attack. He could probably get 20 sacks in a game.
Dan says Clooney is the best Batman ever.
Haha, very funny.
You disagree?
Yes, vastly.
Okay.
Do you like George Clooney as Batman?
I just like George Clooney in some movies he's been in. Peacebreaker says Clooney sucked as Batman, so you guys are
exactly
aligned.
my point. Most people, majority and overwhelming majority of people will feel the same way. Even Addison, who's one of the biggest Batman fans that I know, will say he sucked as Batman.
Who's the best Batman, Bale?
I would live action Batman. My favorite is Michael Keaton.
Really?
When I first saw Bale in the Nolan movies, I had mixed feelings about him. Liked him as Bruce Wayne, his Batman, not so much. But when I watched Batman Begins for the first time in several years, I gained a newfound respect for him. I did like Pattinson,
Mm-hmm.
I did like Ben Affleck. And I did like somewhat Kilmer. As a matter of fact, my brother, who just left, will tell you that Kilmer was his favorite Batman.
Who's the best Batman villain ever? Heath Ledger as Joker?
We're talking about in the comics or in the movies?
In the movies.
I like Tom Hardy's Bane the best.
Really? You're a Bane guy?
Well, in the comics, he's the man who broke the bat, so yeah.
Give me a Bane impression before we wrap up here.
A Tom Hardy Bane?
Yeah.
I can't do the voice.
Well, that's the whole point of the impression. Give us the famous, come on, give us a little, you think darkness is your alley. You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. Give us that. Come on.
I will break you. That's what he said in Nightfall.
Give us more. Give us more.
I have yet to see Braveheart.
No, I want Bane.
That's all I can do, man.
That's all you got for us?
Yes.
All right, give me a little
Jake.
Heath Ledger as Joker, and here
Why so serious?
Give me a little.
I just said, why so serious?
Yeah, give me a little. And here we go, Joker style.
Here we go.
Charles, you'll never get my chicken soup recipe. Hey, Charles, I'm not saying that those you take steroids. Give me some of it. Hey, Charles, who is that lovely lady? Send it this way, Charles.
Charles, you're the man. Great call. And the best years of your life are not elementary school. They're going to be all these years going forward, Charles. Especially after I think you have a great chance of winning our tournament in March. As Maniac Madness, baby, it's coming. And that might have been the #1 overall seed, so good luck. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we had absolute fireworks yesterday on the show. It felt like old times. And guess what? He's back.
Would you take Robert Griffin III again in the first round?
I mean, at what
just
point?
Yes or no, Jake. Just yes or no. This is not a preamble. It's not filibuster. It's not Spurs about 50 things. Yes or no. Would you take? There you go.
Second. Oh my God, dude. Hello, Gary.
Hey, Jake. Hey, first, I got a little carried away. Yes, I apologize. I was a little edgy with you yesterday. Probably.
I enjoyed it, Gary. Don't apologize at all. It was quite entertaining.
I can control myself better. You got a little underneath my skin, and I let my anger get the best of me a little bit.
Well, Gary, I appreciate it, but no offense taken.
All right, cool.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I pissed you off with anything I said either. It was all. It's all good fun always.
Oh, it's just you irritated me a little bit. You got to me a little bit. It's cool. It's fine. It's cool.
Right. I went to Ted U, of course.
My reaction.
I got to stir the pot, baby. I went to Ted U. Come on.
I know you did. I know you did. That was a heartbreaking story. Charles peaked in elementary school because he got bullied after that. That was just a heartbreak. At first, I was laughing like you peaked in elementary school, and then he's like, I didn't get bullied then, and like, I don't know, my heart broke for the kid. Who bullies Charles Gorman? Who does that?
I wish I went to school with Charles because guess what? I would have kicked those people's asses.
Yeah, I would have too. What did Charles Gorman ever do to anybody?
I know. Well, I'll tell you what, Charles had a pretty good run post high school though with his inclusion group and the many friends he now has now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's not about where you're from; it's where you're at, right, Charles? And things are good now. Things are good now. And then I want to touch on Glenn. Look, Glenn was an excellent player. This thing that Glenn was even on the same level as a guy like Revis, this isn't true. This isn't the point of my call.
Yeah.
Y'all in the chat are misremembering. He was very good. Sauce Gardner's a better cornerback than Aaron Glenn. Cromartie was probably a better cornerback than Aaron Glenn. Glenn was excellent. He was a very good player for our team for a long time. You guys are misremembering Aaron Glenn. He was not like that. He wasn't the best cornerback in football or a top 2 cornerback. He was very
really good player. Yeah,
very good player.
Cromartie's a good comp. He was that level of corner. You know, he wasn't the best in the league, but he was when you're doing the top corners in the NFL, he'd be in the top 10 every year on the list.
5, yeah, like that. Sauce is better. I know everyone's down on Sauce.
No, Sauce is made a
better
first,
than Aaron Glenn.
He's a 2-time first team All-Pro. Aaron Glenn never made an All-Pro team with the Jets. Did he do it with the Texans for 1 year? I think
he may have hit some good years with the Texans too. He may have. He was a good player. I'm not degrading Aaron Glenn. I wish we had Aaron Glenn now. If we had peak Aaron Glenn, he'd be starting on this team. He's a really good player.
He never made an All-Pro team. He made the Pro Bowl 3 times. He was a really good player. We all understand that.
Twice with the Jets and then once with the Texans, or twice with the Texans. Twice with the Jets.
Twice with the Jets. Once with Houston. Oh my God, I'm on First Take right now. Holy shit. Oh, they edited out my logo, those assholes. I work for you guys. I work for ESPN. At Jake Asman on X on ESPN right now. What is this? Everyone turn on ESPN. Someone give me a screenshot of that. You see this? You got ESPN on, Gary? At Jake Asman.
I don't. I'm in my office. I don't have cable here. I don't have like a TV with cable in here. I don't.
I love it. They used my tweet because it has like 25,000 impressions, but it's from the press conference that the Jets sent out the footage. So I just clipped it and put it up.
There you go. There you go.
Love that. Now we got Chris Russo opining on my cut. Love it.
The GOAT. There are 3 things in sports that I think are not negotiable. They're not debatable. Number 1, the best quarterback of all time. Not a debate. Number 2, the best closer of all time. Not a debate. Number 3, the best sports talk guy of all time, the best radio guy of all time, Chris Russo. Not a debate.
You can argue.
No debate.
You can argue. Yeah, love Doggy.
He went to the same high school as you said?
He went to private school, but he's from the same town.
What is town as you?
Yeah, he's from Syosset. Let's see. We got some comments for you, Gary. So real quick, Connor Long, you're saying he was a 2-time All-Pro, Aaron Glenn. His Pro Football Reference page is saying just 3-time Pro Bowler. So send me where you found him being on an All-Pro team, because if that's true, they should update the website. But let's see. Peter says that your dementia is setting in. Your thoughts?
I'm actually reversing my dementia, but
Eating
you.
butter,
Stage
right?
3 dementia. Now I'm stage, yeah. Well, not just the butter, but yeah, the high fat carnivore diet.
Chicken Jenkins says, Jake had you crying yesterday, Gary. You had zero emotional control, just like crying Josh McCown.
I certainly wasn't crying yesterday. That's for sure.
Big fella says, debatable. Sauce better than Glenn. Intercept the ball, then we could talk. I mean, I do think Sauce needs to come up with more interceptions, but he's also dominant in coverage, man. Like, you can't deny it.
Thank you. Like I'm now the Sauce. I didn't even want to draft Sauce. I wanted to draft Thibodeau, and now I'm the biggest Sauce defender right there along with you. Like, Sauce is really good.
I have Sauce Gardner's man coverage stats over the last 3 years compared to every other corner in the league. Look where he ranks. He's in the top right. My logo is actually covering it up on the screen. Top right, Sauce Gardner compared to every other corner. Like, he's still that guy, people. A down year for Sauce is a career year for many players in the league.
I got a question for you. It was Mookie Betts and Stack 5 were debating this. What's a harder thing to do? Be a hitter, a professional major league hitter, or a cornerback in the NFL? Like, what's a more skilled, talented thing to do? What's a harder job?
Just to make it, or to be elite at it?
To do it at a professional level. To be a major league hitter or an NFL cornerback. What's harder?
I think major league hitter.
Yeah, I kind of agree, because like Mookie Betts said, you can get lucky and a quarterback can overthrow or underthrow a receiver. You can't ever get lucky and hit a fastball. Like, or it's just, yeah.
So
probably.
You have less odds to make it as a hitter than you do an NFL corner, I would believe as well, statistically.
Probably.
Because there's more positions in football available than baseball. So you could be a converted corner and be in. You know what I mean? Like, you could be a receiver that can't catch. They put you at corner.
It just looks so difficult, especially with today's receivers, how big and fast they are.
Oh,
it's almost impossible to guard these guys.
I mean, it's one of the hardest positions in sports, but like, I think hitting a baseball might be the most difficult thing to do in all sports, arguably. Blink your eyes real quick. That's how much time you had to react to what pitches.
Yeah, I know. Now everyone throws 98. You got guys who throw 92 mile per hour changeups. Like, I don't know how you hit this. Like, that's why the strikeout numbers are up. Like, how are you consistently going to put these balls in play? Everyone throws so hard now.
I see. Also, shout out to a couple of Asmaniacs that just bought Aaron Glenn shirts at jakeasman.com. It looks like the following listeners: Michael and Mark are the two listeners who just bought shirts during the show. Anyway, any other thoughts, Gary?
No, I think we're good. I think we're good. Yeah.
My dad wants to know who's more emotional, you or Brock Bowers.
I don't know, Mr. Asman. I don't know. I guess you guys could answer that. You get to see us firsthand as third-party observers. You tell me.
Yeti writes in, Hamburger better call in. Gary's winning the hair battle.
I'm tough to beat. If we had a tournament for best hair, I think I'd do a lot better than the Asmaniac tournament. I think if we just had a hair tournament, I'd be a 1 seed for sure.
Jay wants to know which is harder, eating chicken and pasta or sticks of butter?
Well, the answer is it's harder to eat sticks of butter at first, but then it just becomes like normal. It's just like anything else, right? It's like what's harder, chicken and pasta or drinking whiskey? Well, the first time you drank whiskey, it was pretty hard to get down, right? But then over time, it goes down pretty smooth, right? I would say sticks of butter is like that.
Did you see, by the way, Cheats fan, his at-bats yesterday? What did you think of his swing?
I did not. No, I didn't. Chiefs fan took a bat yesterday? I didn't see this.
Go back to the end of the show. Chiefs fan gave us a live tutorial on stepping up to the box.
How's his swing?
Oh, like prime Griffey.
He's lefty?
It was incredible.
Okay. Chiefs fan's left-handed? Or you just saying it was...
No, he looked like he hit from the right side.
Okay.
Yeah, great at-bat, though. Great cut.
He's got a good swing?
Oh, yeah. I introduced him like I was Bob Shepard. Was
he a ball player in the hood? Was he a baseball player?
Yeah, they played stickball back in those
days.
They
played stickball in the hood. Yeah. Where was he when he lived in the hood? Was this in Chicago or was this in Kansas City when he lived in the hood?
Yeah,
in Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
Okay, I'm sure I have been to Kansas City once, but it was years ago. I'm sure there's a hood in Kansas City. I don't know. You don't think there's a hood in Kansas City?
No. There's only one hood. It's in Chicago.
It's in Chicago. And it's the streets that made Chiefs fan.
That's right. The mean streets of Chicago. Eiston writes in, should be a segment, Wild Shit by Gary, or like the kids science show segment on eating healthy. Butter.
Yeah, we can do that. Bobby lost 6 more pounds this week. You see, he's down 30 pounds now. And that was with a lot going on in the holidays and stuff. He's still down 30 pounds.
It's pretty good.
Good for Bobby. Yeah.
By the way, I apologize. I missed this from Green and White Pinstripes. He's been a channel member for 17 months. Thank you, Green and White. Charles remains the gift that keeps on giving. Another amazing show. Thank you, Green and White. And Kyle Clifton goes, I don't think anyone's taking a flyer on Olave. I don't think they're going to trade him.
What's with why is he available? Like, you don't think he's worth the conversation? Okay.
I would call, but why would they trade him? Would be my point.
I saw this tweet yesterday about Olave. The Jets were the front runners to land Olave, and the Jets were in negotiation or talks to land Olave. I was a little confused, but I wouldn't be against it. Right? I mean, why would we be against Olave?
Purple Belt Mike says, ask Gary what's better for self-defense for kids in school, BJJ or boxing?
I'm always going to say boxing. Every fight starts on your feet. Every fight you get into starts as boxing.
What's BJJ?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, okay.
I'm always going to say boxing. And you want to stay up on the ground as much as you can. You never want to get
Can you give us a live tutorial? We had Cheats fan practice or really should not even practice. I mean, he's a pro. Show us the art of the swing. Can you give us like a little boxing tutorial on the show? Give us some combos. Hold on, let me get my glove as well. I'll do it with you.
Well, it's not really, So there's 5 basic punches. I'll just walk you through all 5, right?
Bam! All right, here we go.
So jab. So when you throw your jab, think of this.
On full screen, Gary. Here we go. Everyone listen up. Take notes.
Can't really. So the jab, basic. That's a 1. Just shoot it, right? And here's how I want you to think. You're on the phone, and there's a rubber band tied to your ear, right? From your hand to your ear. So you just flick it out, back in. Back it. Back on the phone. Back on the phone. It's a reflex. So this jab, right cross. Right cross. Comes from the hips. 1, 2. Hook. And then you have your rear and your front uppercut. Those are your 5 basic punches. Every punch is some kind of variation of those 5 punches. You can treble the hook, you can loop the right hand, but everything you do is a variation of one of those 5 punches.
Would you say it's all in the hips?
We're gonna make a Shakira reference here. Yeah, most of your power is gonna come from your hips.
Yeah, where's the power coming from? We need the power.
It's just like pitching, probably hitting too. It's all going to come from your lower body, right? If you look at Tyson or Pacquiao, what stands out about them? Their lower body, right? Freakishly big, muscular legs. That's where your power comes from.
Gator writes in, okay, I'm convinced Beast Breaker would destroy Gary in a fight. Thanks,
All
Gary.
right. All right.
You think you take Beast Breaker?
Yes, Jake. I think I could beat Beast Breaker in a fight. I'm not looking to fight Beast Breaker. I have no interest in fighting Beast Breaker. I'm pretty sure I could beat Beast Breaker in a fight.
What gives you the confidence?
That's a real question.
Well, I'm just asking.
The physical appearance of Beast Breaker and having been in countless fights.
What do you mean the physical appearance
of Beast Breaker?
Yeah, what do you mean?
He can't get out of bed. He can't get out of bed.
That's not true. He definitely can get out of bed.
Every time you go to him, he's sitting in bed. I think He probably can get out of bed, but it's probably like a not an easy thing for him to do is to get out of bed.
So you think if he gets out of bed and then calls back in, that will maybe change your opinion on whether or not you could take him?
I'm not going to get into the minutia of me fighting. I have no interest in fighting the Beast Breaker. I'm a non-violent person now. I don't want to get into a fight with anyone. Right? If you push me to a certain point, then yes, that's going to be the only, the last thing that goes. But I'm not interested in fighting Beast Breaker at the moment or any time in the foreseeable future.
He just wrote, Gary, shut up.
Okay. I have no interest in fighting Beast Breaker.
No interest at all?
No. Would you like to fight Beast Breaker?
No, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Okay.
Let's check in with Beast Breaker. Let's see if his Wi-Fi is a little better.
Beast Breaker. 666 $50. Will send his ass to the hole where there's no gabagool.
He's up. Yeah.
That's training 101. Welcome to my classroom, Gary.
Hey, he did get out of bed. Look at that. He did get out of bed. All right. Good for you.
Get up, sunshine! Get up, sunshine! And enough. Ah! I think it's called fear, son. I think it's called fear.
Yeah.
You know.
I sit down before you have a heart attack, Beast.
That's scary enough to knock one eye out. Ryan, come look with you, little fuck. What? I got something for you. Come on down. Who's next? All right, come on. Who wants a little? Who wants a little more?
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble. I don't know. After watching that, I think I would take Beast.
All right. Okay, cool.
He brought it. You can't deny that. He got out of bed. He brought it.
He did. I was surprised he could get out of bed. He looks to be in great physical condition.
I agree.
How do you let yourself get like that? Like I got overweight too during COVID and stuff. Like I suffered with some stuff. I went through some stuff and I gained weight too. But like, don't you look at yourself at some point and be like, I gotta fix this? I'm not trying to make fun of the guy, but like, how does it get to that point?
Kind of sounds like you're making fun of the guy. I thought he looked handsome.
I'm asking a serious question. Like
I am too. I thought he looked handsome.
I'm not judging his physical condition.
Who would win in a fight? Gary or Beast? Let's see what the chat thinks after that performance. I don't know. I think Beast has got a chance. Who'd eat in a butter eating contest?
I don't know. He could probably eat more butter than me, although I probably eat more butter than him day to day. I'm sure if, like we said, stuff yourself with butter, he could probably stuff himself with more butter than I could.
So obviously, you know way more about boxing than I do. I'm a very novice fight fan, but I have seen some fights. I would say Beast Breaker is a lot like Deontay Wilder in that he has that eraser. So if all it takes is one, all right, and you're done. So you would have to make sure that you keep your distance and you don't get caught, because he could change the fight with one strike.
I don't think so.
You don't think he'd be able to land one on you?
I don't think there's much torque on it. He's throwing all arm punches. You say the power comes from. They're all arm punches.
You like my signed Deontay Wilder glove, by the way?
Yeah, I like Deontay. I mean, I wasn't a huge Wilder fan. Like that wasn't my guy, but I like Wilder. You like Wilder, Jake?
I've interviewed him before, and he was nice. And he sounded
a nice guy. Yeah, he's a good dude.
I like Tyson Fury the best,
did he go on his little weird stories, or did he keep it relevant?
No, it was a radio roast spot. My favorite interview of a boxer was Tyson Fury. He was incredible.
Yeah, he's a weird guy, but fascinating.
He was great.
Fascinating. Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get out of him.
We had to bleep half of it because it had to air on radio, but he was hilarious.
Yeah, I can see that.
What are your thoughts on Beast just sitting on you? Does that give you fear?
I mean, no, because you have to every fight starts on your feet. How's he gonna get to me to sit on me, right? I'm just gonna hit him a couple of times, drop him, and then leave. I'm not gonna sit there and fight him. Look at him. I'm gonna hit him 3 times. I'm gonna drop him, and that's the end of the fight.
I don't know. He's gonna get you on the. He's gonna land one on you. You'll be on the ground, and then it'll be like a sumo wrestler. You're done.
But we're not talking about having a professional cage fight. You're talking about if I got into an altercation with Beast on the street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit there. I'm gonna hit him 3 times. I'm gonna drop him. If I got into a fight with Big Fella, I'm gonna hit him twice and run. I'm not gonna sit there in the pocket and trade with a guy that's got 100 pounds on me, right? So I'm not gonna sit there.
Why not? You got to be. You got to be.
Why wouldn't I fight a guy who's by 100?
I don't like quarterbacks who bail out of the pocket. Stay in there and take a hit.
Bail out of the pocket.
Be a man. Stay in there.
He who fights and runs away lives to fight another day, right? A guy, he's got 100 pounds on me. I'm not going to sit there and trade with him. I'm going to hit him twice. I'm going to try to slow him down and get the hell out of there. I'm going to fight a guy who got 100 pounds on me.
Are you alarmed that 56% are siding with you, but that means Beast has 44% that are siding with him?
No, Beast has a fan base, right? So when you ask these questions, you're basically running a popularity contest, right?
No, I didn't ask which person they like more. I said who'd win in a fight.
But you are. I know. I understand the question that you're asking, but the people are going to interpret that as who do I like more and vote for the person they like more. It's just human nature.
M. Morris says Beast would destroy Gary.
Okay, I'm.
But you're winning the popularity contest, though.
I figured I would be. I'm not saying I'm the most popular guy in the world. Look at the level of competition. I'm going against Beast.
I don't know. I think he makes some salient points.
Thank you, Zoink. Gary's a smart guy for someone with dementia. I appreciate that.
It's a good point by Zoink. Cooch says that you and Beast would just end up making out. Is this true?
Yeah, I'm trying to ignore this. Got some weirdos in the chat. That's his sexual fantasy, Cooch. That's just a weird guy. I'm just trying to ignore that.
Do you agree with Beast on this? He says that there's some soy boys in here with no guts.
I mean, I think that's true of any chat or arena that you would go in. Yeah, that's probably true.
Boomtown says, I have no doubt the chat is basing their vote purely based on skill.
Okay. So you let Beastbreaker throw punches for 10 seconds, and he's completely gassed. And then what does he do?
Well, all it takes, once again, is one of those punches to land. He's got the Wilder eraser.
Who's he landing those shots on?
Okay. Look at this. I have actually a film of Beastbreaker.
You know what time it is? A Beastbreaker 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gotta go.
Yeah, baby.
Rule 1 in my dojo. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. The enemy confronts you, he's the enemy. The enemy deserves no mercy here. This is the way we roll. On my battlefield, don't sing your shit to me. Just bring it all you got. And all you soy boys out there, you're all just a bunch of little babies with guts.
Holy crap, here comes Beast Breaker 666.
Why don't you get your fat ass on a treadmill and go the distance with me?
Is that Bobby Midnight?
I'm not into politics, and I already told you that.
I might be big, but I'm gonna be bad enough to put you out.
Beast Breaker always has some salient points.
I mean, I learned a lot there, Gary.
Yeah. Oh, someone asked me the other day, Morel or Benavidez, and they said if you don't pick Morel, you're wrong. Morel's a betting underdog, but I would lean towards David Morel. He's much better from the outside. He's equally as big a hitter. He's much more skilled. Like, he's much more multifaceted. He can win the fight in more ways. But I don't think that it's a given. Like, I think David Benavidez, he's a favorite in the fight for a reason. He's a monster. You can't really do much with him.
Do you think you'd be a favorite against Beast?
Two of the best fighters in the world, Jake.
No, I'm saying, do you think you'd be a favorite against Beast?
I gotta bring him. I gotta help my wife with the groceries.
All right, Gary. Well,
we covered some groceries.
We covered a lot today, and
we did.
I'll see you next time.
Have a good one.
Yep. Farewell.
Plants are trying to kill me, so I think I'll eat a stick of butter.
Now that was tremendous. Great stuff from Beast, from Gary. I think we got to make this fight. More of your calls right now. Let's say hello to Paolo. Hello, Paolo.
Jake, how you doing?
What's up, Paolo?
First time caller, man.
No way.
I can't believe I'm on.
Well, welcome aboard, man. Appreciate you finally calling. What took so long?
To be honest with you, man, I used to listen to you all the time, and then this Jets season just broke me. Like, literally, I went on hiatus. I just couldn't listen to anything Jets related. I just had it with them, man. It was too much.
Man, I feel you. It's tough. It's good to see that there's renewed optimism, though. We'll see what it means, but I mean, this is the most excited the fan base has been in a while, so that's good to see at least.
Yeah, I know it. Once they started with the coaching and the GM search. By the way, I'm sorry. I don't know if I could flip this, but the little noisemaker is this one right over here. If you hear stuff in the background. And anyway, so once the GM and like the coaching search began again, we always get excited. The off season is our Super Bowl, and so I started watching again, and I forgot what it was, but the first time I logged on was maybe 2 or 3 days ago. And oh God, what was Gary? I'm not gonna remember now, but Gary on his take on women. I was like, oh man, I came in right at the right time. And then you put on I forgot who the girl was.
Jay Graves.
Yeah. Yes, correct. Yeah, it was really funny. But love the show, man. I've been watching the background for so long. Every once in a while, I'll throw out a super chat here and there. This one over here, when she was born, she's 9 months. 9 months as of yesterday.
Wow.
And when she was born, I put her in a onesie that said, "The Jets been ruining my life since I was born."
That's funny. Good for you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is it like to live in Sao Paulo? Am I saying it properly?
I don't. I live in Jersey.
Okay.
I'm from there, but you did
Okay.
say it right. Correct.
Yeah.
I was born there, but I live in Jersey now.
I love that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's how I got into the Jets fan. A quick story, if you don't mind. Ray Lucas is the reason why I'm a Jets fan, and if I ever meet him, I might have to fight him. Maybe I'll take some boxing lessons from Gary first. But my sister, she dated his best friend for about 10 years. So when he was starting for the Jets, they came home. I didn't like football back in the day, whenever it was. I forget the Ray Lucas seasons. They came back from a game with all this Jets gear. And then every Sunday, they're sitting there watching Ray Lucas. So this man is the reason why I've had so much misery for however long it's been.
That's a cool story. Yeah. I mean, so that's probably like 98, 99 when Ray was on the team.
Yeah, it's probably around that time. Yeah. Then I got into the Broncos a little bit when they were going on their Super Bowl run, but it's just been miserable, man. I don't know how you do it for a living because, like I said, I had to check out the season. I feel like lesser of a fan, and I watched all the games, but I just didn't want to hear anything else. If I wasn't watching the game, I don't want to hear anything on the radio. So I don't know how you do it being a big fan, and then on top of it having to do it as a career. Oh my God, that would drive me nuts, right?
She knows.
You're not a fan of the Jets anymore either, right?
That's
But
awesome. Pal, great call, man. Hopefully you can call back more. All right.
I will definitely try, man. I'm so happy. My wife is gonna die laughing. I'm gonna show her the video later, so she's gonna laugh at me because she knows I always watch you, and she was the one that motivated me. She's like, you got to stop listening to Jet stuff. You're just angry all day. I'm like, you're right. I am. They're ruining my life.
It's true.
But I will call back, man. I appreciate you having me on.
You got it, man. Say hi to your. Oh, hold on. Yep.
Just wanted to say I'm a big Gary fan. I know people hate on him. I think Gary is absolutely hilarious, and I'm not gonna shout out at anybody. I mean everybody sees me, but like all your characters on the show, man, the show is top notch for real. Like I know one day if I become a character on the show, I've made it in life, or at least made it in my Jets fanhood. So that's all I'll say.
Well, I'll tell you what, pal. Get your brackets ready for March because you're gonna have to fill one out. Everyone. We're going to run a contest. Who's ever the most accurate predictor of the bracket, just like you would for NCAA in your bracket group, you're going to win a prize. I have to figure out what the prize should be. Maybe I'll come up with like a custom shirt that's exclusive to whoever won. Something. I don't know. All right. Let's see. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We still got a ton of people in here, which is awesome. Great to have this fan base back. Reminder for those just tuning in, we have our new raffle prizes that I announced the Namath helmet yesterday. Biggest prize we've done. We had to do something big for Super Bowl week, right? Come on now. Joe Willie Namath signed helmet, Joe Klecko signed helmet, and just announced this morning, Mark Gastineau signed helmet, plus the Aaron Glenn signed photo. Those are the top prizes for the next Asmaniac raffle, which will be sometime next week or the Monday after the Super Bowl. We got to figure it out. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you haven't already, gift a membership if you want in on the raffle you heard me just talk about. Let's say hello to Jason in Jerusalem. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Jake. What up?
How are you?
Doing good. Aisles are lifting my spirits.
What did you say?
I said the aisles are lifting my spirits.
Oh, yes. Playing some real hockey all of a sudden. We'll see if it lasts.
Yeah. I mean, there's something about them lately that they always go on a run mid to late season. The question is always, is it too late? Even the Doug Waite year, they went out of this, great run at the end.
The Doug Waite year. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
And may you never hear it again.
You're probably right.
Wanted to ask you your thoughts on all these talks of who they're interviewing for OC and DC, and none of them have any experience. What happened to Wilkes coming in, and what happened to the guy in the Rams? I'm just hearing like different names now. You think we're still getting the guy from the Rams? You're still getting Steve Wilkes, or those trains have left?
Steve Wilkes still feels like a possibility. I heard that like Kaylee and the Jets were like making ground. They were close, but that was before Cohen left Tampa and then went to
the Jacks.
And then Slowick got fired too. So that like there weren't as many quote unquote better openings when I heard that. So I don't know. I do know that Tanner Enstrang has been reported as another name that is in talks with the Jets. He's the Lions pass game coordinator. He'd be an intriguing name. What I like about him is his experience. He's a younger guy, but he started off as a grad assistant with Jim Harbaugh at San Diego. He coached quarterbacks for Harbaugh. He was an OC there. And then Harbaugh even brought him to Michigan for a year. So, if you're good enough for Harbaugh and you're good enough for Ben Johnson, that's good enough for me.
I agree with you. My question here is, the one issue we had with Salah's staff is that there was no veteran who had done this before on the staff. And we look at each person individually and we say, oh, that sounds great. But who's the veteran? Is it going to be Todd Haley? Is it going to be Steve Wilkes? Is it going to be somebody else?
I think Darren Rizzi has a chance to be the special teams coordinator. So he'd be your special teams guy, and he just was an interim head coach for New Orleans. So that could be one guy with a lot of experience. I'm not sure. I think there's a lot of names that could actually end up staying too that are still there. Like I wouldn't be shocked if Aaron Whitecotton, for example, stayed as one of the defensive assistants, or if Ron Middleton maybe stayed on in a role. Like
I thought they spread that everybody's gone.
No, not everyone.
Or that was just referring to Boyer and Odin.
Yeah, the ones whose contracts were up were able to take other jobs.
Okay, so Middleton and Aaron Cotton are still under contract.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Got to ask you this other question here. Really random question, but then again, random goes on this show. Obviously, I eat kosher, and the kosher restaurants go very differently. All the kosher pizza places offer French fries as a side dish. Somebody told me recently that's exclusively to kosher places and not anywhere else. Is that true, or is the guy pulling my leg? Can you get French fries at a pizza store?
Yes. It depends where, though. Not every pizza place has fries.
It's common. It's rare, but not unheard of. How would you rate that?
No, I would say it's pretty common at a lot of places. Like if you go to like a traditional pizza place, no. But like if you go to places that like serve slices that have like other items there, like they do sandwiches too, then you definitely can. Like
so you're talking about a cafe?
Like there's a place down the street that I order in from a lot. Like they have really good pizza, but they also do like chicken parm subs, and then they have wings, and they have mott sticks, and they have fries. Like they have other things.
Okay, now somebody told me that burger gets fries, pizza doesn't. Obviously, I don't get burgers and pizza in the same place.
I think if you're watching football, all bets are off. You can eat whatever.
Okay. All right, Jake. Looking forward. By the way, what are the rules for the March Madness here? How do you gauge who wins and who doesn't? Like, what's the criteria for winning a matchup?
You vote. It just whoever you think is the better as maniac. You could have. What I like about it is it's very open-ended, which means however you enjoy the show, if you like someone that sticks to mostly Jets takes, if you like someone that's outside the box, if you like someone that is off the rails, and whatever your criteria is, if you don't like that, you can vote against it, but that's how it's going to be decided.
I don't know if you remember Hard Knocks when the Jets were on it, but it almost reminds me of the King Ugly competition that they had, where third prize was $10, second prize was $50, and first prize was a Burger King hat. And I think Vad Dukas won second and third prize.
Yeah, he was definitely King Ugly.
He was. Somebody actually told me once that MLB history would probably be Willie McGee. And I can't say that I disagree with that one. If you remember that, that's going back to the 80s there.
I'll have to look up Willie McGee. I remember Vlad Dukas well, though. He was a second-round pick. Mike Tannenbaum drafted him. He went to UMass, and he sucked. And it's like, Mike, this guy went to your school, and you took him? How about we take the Victor Cruz from UMass instead, Mike? Shouldn't you be in on him?
Yeah, I don't think Jet fans remember that the second rounds used to just be, I mean, still for the most part, the place where we just sucked for like 2 decades.
Yeah,
I think until David Harris was drafted, there was the guy never made like year 3 on the team.
And then it sucked even more after that until Brees and then Tippmann.
But I thought Jets Forever says that Denzel Mims is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame, all right. The Hall of Fame of bad picks. Good call, Jason. Hit the like button if you haven't. How many likes we up to, Eric? 296. Let's get over 300, shall we? Still got 400 people in here live. Super chats will cut the line. Big fella writes in, for the record, I don't want to fight Garrett. Noted. Nate says, I wish someone would jab me and hook me and wake me up when the season starts. LGJ Glenissance. I want to give some love to one of the people who always watches the show. I see him on Twitter. I think he might have been the one that come up with Glenissance. I wasn't sure which listener said it. Someone wrote it in the chat. I think it was him. A guy by the name of Jets West, who's always watching the show on Twitter. I think he was the first person to come up with Glenissance. So shout out to him. M with a super chat. Gary visiting Florida. Florida man eats so much butter, cheese, and beef that cholesterol oozes from his skin. Incredible. Gary's had quite the run this month. He's given us a little bit of everything. Yesterday, it was classic Gary arguing nonsense with me. He's given us some moments where he's going at it with Beastbreaker like he did again today. And arguably the funniest moment we've had from Gary in a long time was when he was arguing that the moon landing was fake. That created a lot of controversy. And then I thought it'd be funny to ask him to do the moonwalk. If he was going to sit here and argue the moon landing was fake, I'm like, at least give us a moonwalk. And, well, after I said that to Gary, Gator got thinking. And we also learned a lot. Where's this cut? Hold on. Where's my Gary moonwalk video? Where's this? We have too many files. That's the problem. Too many files everywhere. StreamYard, you suck. Do a terrible job organizing it. Here we go. Give us a little moonwalk.
I can't. I got the ankle. Oh, do you not know what happened?
No, did something happen recently?
Yeah, when I was in New York, I got hit by a car.
Is there security footage of this? Can I play it on the show?
So they would probably have the footage. I mean, what am I going to do with it now?
Gator's already working on a production of this, so
yeah, I think that's why I didn't want to bring it up.
I'm going to play a drop, and then that's your cue to make a face like you got hit by a car. You ready?
All right, I'll do it.
Here we go. Ready? And Gator writes in, can he throw the headset off and vomit?
Now there's a gas station over here. I'm gonna go get some pizza and see if they have any butter to put on it.
You could have died.
But I didn't.
What a moment. All right, a couple calls left here, then we got to run. Adam is too cool. What's up, Adam?
Hey, dude. I forgot to congratulate you on 41K. Good job, man.
Oh, thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Are you Glentertained?
There's another one. I am. Ask me in September when the games start, but for now, I'm very Glentertained.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. I actually got a roster question for you because I was thinking about some of the other positions that may have not had a lot of focus. I hope one of the storylines for next year is have Sauce got his groove back because I'd like to see him back at all pro form. I hope Aaron Glenn can figure out what's stuck with him and get him unstuck so he's back to the way that we like him. But in terms of cornerback too, I think there's kind of an opening there. I know DJ Reed was kind of out the door at the end of the season, but I'm kind of curious if you think that might actually be the smartest move is to try and convince DJ Reed to come back on a reasonable deal because he didn't really play so well that he's going to get like an earth-shattering contract. But maybe Aaron Glenn can talk him back in, or plan B is you look to the draft, maybe Will Johnson or someone like that. What do you think plan A should be for CB2?
If DJ Reed doesn't have a market and they can get him back on a reasonable deal, sure. I think he's going to get paid, though. It's a premium position. Teams need number ones, and the Jets aren't going to pay him like a number one. So I don't see it. I think they could maybe re-sign Brandon Eccles and have him compete for a spot with Stiggers, and then you go cheap there because you're spending elsewhere to improve the defensive line. You got to add a safety. Like, I just don't see the Jets spending big money there because they have Sauce who they're going to have to pay, and they already paid Michael Carter. So I'd be very surprised.
Okay, cool. That was it. Thanks a lot.
Adam, great call, man. Someone wrote Adam looks like a quantum physics. I can't say that word. I don't know why. I know what you mean, though. He looks like a smart, intelligent man. Smart, intelligent man. Like this guy.
It's Chiefs fan.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's Chiefs fan.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's Chiefs fan.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for Chiefs fan.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill. What up, Jake?
Ahoy, Chiefs fan.
Turn the volume back up. I got up early, got laundry today, cleaned this today.
You cleaned the couch?
Well, Febreze sprayed it down, and then I cleaned the sheet that I put on it. I've been up since 7:30. I got myself some soup, cook it on the stove.
Gorman soup?
Actually, Campbell's soup,
Nice.
like I had yesterday, a giant thing of Campbell's chicken noodle with vegetables, and I threw some leftover fresh mushrooms in there.
Excellent.
And I threw some leftover potatoes from last night. So I'm going to have double starch noodles and potatoes.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Especially when I'm like I have the money to eat like more things than soup, but it's like it's cold weather. So it's going to be cold. Why not have soup every day? Almost.
Nothing wrong with a little soup.
Yep. I honestly can't wait for springtime because of the March Madness and the UFL is coming out, and then
You're excited about the UFL. Your team's in the Super Bowl in a week, trying to go for a three-peat.
I'm excited for that too.
I would imagine you would be. I couldn't even imagine if the Jets were in the Super Bowl, let alone trying to win their fourth title in 5 years.
If we freaking three-peat, I think I might go MIA for a day or so.
All right, well, be careful out there on the mean streets of KC.
No, I'm in South Illinois, but I mean like MIA for a day or so, because I might just literally
find a way to get to Kansas City for the parade. But like, if I go to the parade, I don't like last year's parade. That was horrible. What happened?
I see.
If you remember what happened at last year's parade, radio hosts lost their life last year. Yeah. I'm honestly thinking that you guys are gonna snatch up someone off our team for defense, or the Eagles team for DC.
You think so?
Yeah. And I honestly think Spags might literally go to the Saints if he wants to, because I think like he's up in age. It's probably his last chance. Or
we
the
have a
DC.
question for you, Chiefs fan.
Yeah.
Coops wants to know: will you climb a street pole if the Chiefs win?
No, because my back is screwed up. But if we three-peat,
Nick
I'm
M.
probably-
Shout out to Nick M, the great Nick M. Kansas City is dog bleep. I work there.
And I love my team, but Kansas City is kind of eh.
How would you celebrate a three-peat? Luppy wants to know.
Oh, my doctor's gonna hate me. Celebrate a three-peat. Go out, get some McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, have myself some fried wings. That are not fried wings. We're gonna have wings in the Super Bowl. Lunch, I'll just have myself a steak, and then for dinner, I would just go out and eat tacos. I would just eat back-to-back meals that Gary would probably disapprove of.
Wow, man, that's crazy. That's the craziest thing I've heard. That sounds insane.
Yeah, I would overload my cholesterol levels if we repeat.
I don't know if you could do that. That'd be wild, Chiefs fan. I mean, those meals all in one day. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's either that or not follow my doctor's order and get some Jim Beam, because I went in a little hungover at my doctor's, and I'm used to the hard liquors. I'm just not doing it as much as I used to. But my doctor's like, "You came in hungover. Oh, what's your blood sugar level? What's this? Stay off the fireballs. No booze on the Super Bowl." I'm like, I'm having a fireball on the Super Bowl. You cannot tell me not to. Fireballs is my favorite type of cheap liquor. Other than that, it is the Smirnoff shots, the knockoff Smirnoff version that you get for $1.25 at a gas station. It tastes like Smirnoff, but it's not. You know it's cheap. You know it's cheap vodka. They also at my gas station sell I don't know the name of the brand, but there's like jars of moonshine. And my friend says if you win the three-peat, you have to. And I'm like, I'm not drinking that. If I want moonshine, I want actual moonshine that will actually fuck you up. Like the stuff that they used to make back in the Rolling 20s during the Prohibition. I want actual moonshine. But yeah, I'm happy for this weekend. On Sunday, I turned 34.
Coops wants to know if you'd accept an escort from him if the Chiefs win.
Yeah, definitely. When I visit New York, I definitely need an escort or someone to be around, because I'm gonna be wearing Chiefs gear, and you know how people act. I'm definitely like if we three-peat, I'm going to say I'm just gonna take 200 out of savings and buy some Chiefs gear or something else like Chiefs related. Like there's a Chiefs app where you could buy Chiefs memorabilia, and I'll probably buy like a signed miniature helmet if we
So you would take an escort if the Chiefs win.
Yeah, I definitely want to three-peat, but if we don't three-peat, at least we won back-to-back.
What if, to make it up for you, if they don't win the Super Bowl, I'll partner up with Coops and also pay for an escort for you?
Sure, why not? Like I really want this three-peat so bad, but like there's gonna be It's Barkley.
What hair color should your escort have?
Any hair color they want. I'm not gonna judge.
Blonde guy, brunette.
Any hair color that they want. Dark hair,
Asian?
any hair color. But let me just say this: if we
Puerto
don't
Rican. What type of escort would you like?
if any escort's a good escort. I'm not gonna choose on race. I'm politically correct. But let me just say this:
man or woman, no preference. Fat, skinny.
Hey, if someone like Ronda Rousey, who's built muscle over the years, can still stay that skinny, I'm not gonna judge. I'm like, there are women that could literally look like they're not going to kick your ass and then do taekwondo when you're in the hospital for the next month.
Okay, so if I find you a Ronda Rousey lookalike for your escort, you're in.
I'm in. Yeah, hell yeah. I'm not a big wasn't a big fan of hers in the WWE, but like when she left and the way she like had her kid and then she went back into shape, I'm like, damn, I wish I could do that.
It's G-Span.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's G-Span.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's G-Span.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for G-Span.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
We've done it, folks. We have done it. We are getting Chiefs fan an escort. I love this show. Can you believe this is my job? It's pretty wild, right? All right, one last call, and then we wrap it all up.
Women.
Hello, Rob.
Hey, Jake. How you doing? That other guy you were talking about, how does this guy look? Is he kind of the guy that you were looking for, that he resembles? The guy from the Big Bang Theory?
Oh, Adam
Johnny Galecki?
Johnny Galecki?
Yes. Right?
Are you talking about
a little bit?
Are you talking about Adam is too cool who called before?
Yes.
I see the resemblance a little bit. Yeah.
All right. I saw it and I was like, I got to show it to Jake. But a couple of things I want to chime in on. First of all, I'll start with this first, and then I have to ask you something. I'm starting to see, and anybody who had the privilege of seeing Bill Parcells back in the day when he coached the Jets, you're a little too young for that, Jake. But when he coached the Jets and the way he spoke to the media bears resemblance now to Aaron Glenn. Because Aaron
very
Glenn,
Parcellian how he handled the media the other day. I agree.
oh, yeah. I had a smile on my face. I go, oh, my God. That's what Parcells would do. He would put people in place with a smile on his face. And people would respect it, and they would back off. But yet, he claimed his own identity. I'm Aaron Glenn. But he looked so much like Bill Parcells there. It put a smile on my face because he is my favorite coach all time is Bill Parcells. I thought he was a great coach. He turned the culture around for the Jets. He got my daughter, my oldest daughter, Cheryl, to be a Jet fan. My daughter had so much respect for him when she saw the crap with Kotite. And then all of a sudden the Jets just take off. She was like, oh, my God, this coach is so good. But anyway, so outside of that, I'm happy about that, Jake. I heard this fight with Beast Breaker and what do I call it, Gary. But, you know, I like Beast Breaker. I have to say, I haven't chimed in on him yet. I do like him. He seems like he's a good-hearted person. I'd like to meet him. One day, I want you to put him on with me if you don't mind. So I would like to say hello to Beast Breaker. But I will be honest with you, Jake. Gary is a former professional fighter, and he knows how to fight. I mean, I know he's 40 now, so he's not like he was when he was 20. But you know what? Back in the day, I fought too. I boxed too. And I'm telling you, if you don't know what you're doing and the other guy is strictly amateur, I mean, Beast Breaker could have a lot of strength, but if Gary keeps him at bay and stuff and then pops him, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. And it's not that I want to go against Beast Breaker.
I think Beast has the X factor, though, Rob. He's got the eraser.
What does he have?
He's got the great eraser. You know, that Beast Breaker right could end the fight right away.
If he gets lucky and he pops him, anything could happen. You're right about that part.
Beast,
But,
what do you think
know,
of that assessment? What do you think of the assessment from Rob? Let's check in with the Beast right now. Beast, how are you?
I want to meet the Beast.
Oh, busy right now. I'm taking care of guinea pigs right now. And I'm doing.
No way. We got to meet your guinea pig.
And he's exercising. Right, he's exercising right now.
Beast, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Robin, I like you, my friend.
How are you, buddy?
Was a man's man, and when he said the truth, he says example. It's called we're gonna make our men superstars, and when we do the job, we do the job. It's called you want a paycheck here? You want a paycheck here? You're gonna get off your ass. You're gonna earn it.
Exactly.
If you don't be here, get out.
Out.
We'll give you a paycheck.
Remember
We'll tell you.
Parcells, right? Beast, you remember Parcells back in the day?
Yes, I do.
Was he a great coach, or was he a great coach, buddy?
He was a general.
Yeah,
he made examples out of them. It's called when you come here, you're gonna work for your checks. You're gonna if you get knocked out or you get injured, get off the field. 3 to 4 weeks, you stay off the damn field. That's a damn order. We're not gonna be responsible for paying.
Hey, Beast,
for
do you remember that
because
time?
that is not the way we run here. Run that by me,
Beast. You remember that time when Corbett was hurt in the ankle and Parcells wanted to make sure that he was really injured, and he went right up to him and he kicked him in the shin, and Corbett fell to the ground, and he goes, "Why the hell did you do that?"
I remember very clearly. I remember very clearly.
And then he goes,
Parcells is not the kind of guy you don't want to get in a fight with. Parcells will tell you like it is. Okay, if you're hurt, okay, get on the bench. We'll tape you up and get you in the ice. But if it's this bad, we're getting you off because I'm not gonna. We're not responsible for your health. But we're gonna make sure you're healthy and you're normal and you're okay. That's what we bring you here for.
Beast, your internet's not great. Can we see the guinea pig again? What's your guinea pig's name?
Hey, little Joey over here. He's in his igloo. He's just playing for starters. But let me
Aim the camera down.
say this. Here we go.
There you go. Cute.
You're funny.
Very
You're funny
nice.
little
Very nice.
guys. I take care. Mike, you see, I take care of my pets here. Oh, man. And come this season, for my.
Oh, there he is.
Everybody. You're not going to get a check sitting on your. Yes, you're going to get a check by working. If you don't want to be here, you know who this is? Uncle Louie. So, we'll shake you up. It's a we're not playing your games. Either you man up or you get out. It's one.
Breaker 666. He's the man who would kick your ass, and then he'd gobble-goo.
Beast, that is just a tremendous guinea pig. Shout out to you, Beast. What a job there. Rob, your thoughts on the Beast guinea pig?
Oh my God, that thing looked like a dinner. I mean, you see how big that thing was?
Oh yeah.
Nah, he's a good-hearted person. He's not a bad guy. He's just the big fellow's just got to keep on working on him. But he has some salient points, as you say. Not bad. He's good for the show. He's good for the show. He's not a bad guy. He'll blend in. He'll blend in, I think.
Rob, excellent call out of you. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
All right, that's a show. Reminder, we're at Radio Row next week. Sponsorship packages, by the way, are still available. We have a few left if you're in. So if you have a brand or business who wants incredible exposure, email me, asmanjake@gmail.com. Check out the merch store, jakeasman.com. Get your Aaron Glenn shirts. These were made by Sham. So appreciate Sham for doing that. You guys are awesome. We're back this afternoon. It might be Jeff Parles. It might be someone else. We're working on that. So stay tuned for the guest this afternoon. Either way, I want to thank you all again for watching. My name is Jake Asman. This has been another thrilling Jake Asman show. Join the Patreon if you haven't been there yet. It's a blast. It's the place to be. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Go Jets. Flight Boss up next. What's up, Flight Boss?
Hey, what's up, Jake? I love your show, man. You know, I've been watching you for a while.
That can't be your real voice.
Yeah.
You sound like Darth Vader.
Oh, wait a minute, man. I'm new to this stuff. Let me see. My voice changer.
I don't want to sound like a female or nothing. Wait a minute.
Say, Luke, I am your father. We'll let you go, Flight Boss. We couldn't understand anything at all there. This show never ceases to amaze me, man.
Jets, Jets, Jets.